WBGU 88.1 for coverage of Bowling Green State University hockey taking on St. Thomas for the second game of the series as they fell to the Tommies last night 3-2. I am Gavin Gill, being joined by Nate Hinners and Artie Abrego in studio. How we feeling today, fellas?
Feeling pretty good. I'm excited to talk about more BGSU hockey. I was in the studio for that game yesterday. It was a tough overtime loss for the Falcons. Looking to see if they can bounce back.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game we got going on tonight. Of course, the Tommies, favored in the CCHA, but Falcons were able to put up a fight for most of last night until their overtime loss. So it'll be interesting to see how tonight plays out.
Absolutely, and you kind of brought it up a little bit. St. Thomas is currently sitting at the top of the CCHA with 47 points, and Bowling Green is sitting in fourth place right now with 37. So 10 points behind the top dog, and the next person they are able to jump would be Michigan Tech. We will go over all CCHA games happening today, as well as the how the rankings go as we get into the back half, pretty much the back fourth of the season, right before playoffs and everything in the CCHA. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 for your pregame coverage of Bowling Green taking on the St. Thomas Tommies.
Miss a BGSU sports broadcast? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to listen to past calls by Falcon Media Sports Network.
The BGSU women's swim and dive team capped off their historic regular season on January 31st with a commanding 227-124 victory over rival Toledo in the Battle of I-75. The win marked their first triumph over the Rockets since 2022 and served as a fitting finale to a remarkable regular season. The Falcons finished with an impressive 13-3 overall record, including a 3-1 mark in conference competition and a dominant 5-0 record at home. Their blazing 12-0 start to the season set the tone for the year, standing as the program's best opening and most successful regular season in nearly 5 decades. The Falcons now prepare for the MAC Championship in Akron, Ohio from February 25th to February 28th, seeking their first MAC Championship since 1981. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics. BGSU Gymnastics returns to the Stroh Center to face Wilberforce and Fisk on Sunday, February 8th at 2 p.m. Check out bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the contest by Falcon Media Sports Network's Carter Leonard with photos and video on bgfalconmedia.com.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Back here in the Coolin Center for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on St. Thomas. So, Artie, you were on the call, or you were in the studio last night.
I was somewhere.
You were somewhere last night covering the last night's game of Friday where Bowling Green fell 3-2 in overtime. So, kind of give a little recap of last night's game.
Yeah, once again, it was a really tough contest between both teams. Falcons, I think we're getting used to see them getting these kind of dogfights with teams. It's always a competitive game, so BG got it started with a goal by Brody Waters that got him up to a 1-0 lead before St. Thomas got that tied it back up with a Nathan Pillion goal, and it was 1-1 for a while until BG eventually got back the lead just 54 seconds into the second period. Noah Monroe, he ripped one right through the net, and then once again Nathan Pillion, he got another goal that tied him up, but 2-2 in the second period. So it was tied 2-2 all the way until overtime, where the St. Thomas picked up the game-winning goal in overtime with Nick Williams for the game-winning goal. So once again, another game for the Falcons with the overtime. This one didn't go to the extra shootout, but once again, it was a pretty competitive game for the Falcons.
Yeah, I was in studio here too, on the floor, but in the studio. But it was an exciting game to listen to. I mean, as you were saying, it was a pretty close matchup throughout it. I believe we were tied up at the end of obviously the first, second, and obviously the third periods. I think first was 1-1, second was tied up 2-2, and then third was stayed 2-2, no scoring in the third period. It wasn't until we got to overtime that St. Thomas was able to get that point to stay ahead and win the game, obviously, but it was a close one throughout it. The interesting thing was in that second period, the Falcons really came out to score that second goal like just within like about a minute of play.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that a couple times this season with the Falcons. I think head coach Dennis Williams, he likes to preach just attacking at the start of these periods, really coming out with a fire after that, 15-minute break. And, I mean, they really came out with a fire in that second period. They just couldn't capitalize on the same way in the third. But I think by then, both teams were pretty tired. It was a pretty physical game all night long. I mean, we saw that hit by Gustav Sternberg that just absolutely knocked out another player. And Sternberg, of course, is serving a 1-game suspension for picking up his third major of the season. So it was definitely a pretty physical game. You could tell it was wearing down on both teams, and we've seen all season long BG loves these physical games and the physicality of playing against the CCHA.
Absolutely. I mean, you brought up that Sternberg suspension, so he is out for this game. This is his third game misconduct. So basically, he's got a tighter leash on him. So if he gets any more misconducts, he's suspended for the next game. So make sure he's gotta keep himself in check as we get to the back half of this season, especially with a tough season coming up. I mean, they have a tough season coming up, and Minnesota State's after this. Minnesota State's kind of sitting at the top of the CCHA, so definitely want to keep your boys in check as you get into the back half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you got Augustana after this series, and you got Minnesota State, who right now they're tied with points in the standings. With both have 37, so that's gonna be pretty major heading forward. And when you get down in their last series of the season before the Mason Cup is Michigan Tech, so you only have a couple more series left. I mean, you got to get all your guys out there on the ice. And I mean, Sternberg, he picks up a lot of penalty minutes. I mean, you can't really afford him to have him suspended for more games heading into these series.
Yeah, and I think Holden Ruck's article on BGFalconmedia.com says a lot. Sternberg makes history as penalties plague the Falcons. And just really talking about his history with penalties, I mean, back, what was the year, 2023 to 2024 season, Sternberg finished 10th in the CCHA with 40 minutes in penalties from 20 penalties in 31 games, which was the highest for the Falcons that season. And then last year, Sternberg finished 11th in the conference with 35 minutes through 30 games on 16 penalties, good for the third most on the team. So, he's a big player for the Falcons, one who really helps them stay competitive. But when he's out, because of his penalty problems, it's really going to impact how the Falcons play.
I mean, of course, hockey's always going to be physical. You're always going to have big hits like that. It's just a matter of just picking and choosing when you want to do them. I mean, you can't have anything too major happen like we saw against that. I mean, it was a great hit, but you just got to be smart when you're coming down to these series. You got to make sure you're playing for yourself and for your team, and you can't have any mistakes like that, headed down to those minutes.
Yeah, you've got to watch your physicality because obviously, you were saying it is a physical sport, but you can't get past that line where you're getting penalties and where overall it's going to impact your team in a very detrimental way like we may see tonight.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we'll be right back for Around CCHA and Around College Hockey in just a few moments here on WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon Hockey.
I'm Gus Peacock from the Bowling Green men's soccer team, and this is my Falcon 4 favorite Halloween costumes. My first one is going to be Bigfoot because I think it's really funny and he looks super big. My next one is going to be one of the founding fathers, Ben Frank. I'm going to do that this year. I think it's really funny. Another one, my favorite costumes would be Art the Clown because he's super scary and I've watched all the Terrifier movies. And the last one would be Buddy the Elf because I love that costume and I love that movie so much.
Falcon Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Falcon men's golf travels to the Sunshine State for the Lake Jovita Invitational in Dade City, Florida on Monday, February 9th and Tuesday, February 10th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Kevin Hutchinson will have the recap of the event on bgfalconmedia.com.
Hi, my name's Emma Stransky. I'm a winger for BGSU women's soccer. My 4 favorite animals are ferret, because I have 2 and they're the cutest things ever. Falcon, because we're BG. Fox, because Chris Fox, our coach. And then a flamingo, because I think that they're pretty.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
WBGU 88.1 for coverage of Bowling Green taking on St. Thomas Tommies for puck drop being in about 14 minutes. But we will do a quick around CCHA for games happening today, as well as other college hockey games that are happening. There's one big one that I definitely want to talk about. Currently live right now, we have Augustana taking on Michigan Tech. Augustana is currently ranked 16th in the in the NCAA, and Michigan Tech is currently ranked 20th. Augustana is winning 2-1. Later on tonight, we have Fair State taking on Bemidji State, and then St. Thomas ranked 15th according to NCAA.com scoreboards. Taking on Bowling Green as you are listening for coverage for that. But the one big game that I want to talk about in the around college hockey is number 1 Michigan taking on number 2 Michigan State. So I definitely want to kind of keep an eye on that. We'll do in-studio updates if things get really big. I would assume a low-scoring game out of that one. No other games, really, besides North Dakota taking on Minnesota Duluth. That's number 3 North Dakota taking on number 10 Minnesota Duluth. That puck drop will also be at 7:07. But as we take a look into the CCHA rankings, St. Thomas is currently at 1, Augustana is at 2, Michigan Tech's at 3, Bowling Green at 4, Minnesota State at 5, Bemidji at 6, Lake Superior State at 7, and Ferris State at 8. So if the playoffs started today, those would be your teams with Northern Michigan missing playoffs. So, but I mean, if you want to take a look at Bowling Green's schedule, they play Augustana in Augustana, right? That's next. And then they take on Minnesota Tech a little bit, or Minnesota State after Augustana, and then they take Michigan Tech. So they could really shake up the rankings in the top of the CCHA if Bowling Green can get some points tonight against the Tommies and do something with Augustana. You're taking on 4 out of the top 5 teams in the CCHA. So, like, a little bit, what are you guys kind of expecting out of the back half of the season?
I mean, we know the Falcons are a tough team. They fought some pretty tough competition on this back half of the season. I mean, they had the Notre Dame series. Now they come in to play against St. Thomas. So it's a lot of really tough competition, heading out into this back half. But I think this is all going to get them ready for a really strong finish to the season. I'm really excited for that Minnesota State series because, I mean, they're so close right now in the standings. Both have 37 points. So that's the one I'm probably most excited about. If that stays the same as we head into that series, but that's definitely the one I'm most excited about from this back half of the season.
That's the last game at the Slater for the rest of the season,
yeah.
Unless Bowling Green can pull out something where they're at the top of the CCHA and they can bring a playoff game to the Slater at Family Ice Arena, which would be absolutely electric.
I mean, we've seen the Notre Dame. I mean, a couple of sellouts.
Sold out games.
It gets so loud. I mean, a home playoff game at the Slate would be major, a home field advantage. I mean, obviously, but for the Falcons.
Yeah, Artie, I think I have to agree with what you were saying before. Bowling Green has stayed a competitive team throughout these bigger games where they were definitely not favored going in. Notre Dame, Ohio State, both series where they have been able to stay competitive and even win a game throughout it. And even last night, too, the Tommies ranked in the NCAA and a top team in the CCHA, they were able to stay, neck and neck with them throughout the night up until that overtime action. We'll see how they can do tonight if they can pull off a tied series. But with that competition and that competitive spirit, as they get ready to play kind of a tough rest of the season and maybe even going into the postseason, seeing if that can be keep them competitive. But they really have to stay competitive throughout these games and not go in knowing that the team is more difficult. Like, they have to go in as competition, which they've done a very good job of throughout this season.
Absolutely. We were going to step aside for one quick promo, PlayStation identification, and then we will do our player of the game here on WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon hockey.
For all BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Back here, 88.1 WBGU, your home for Falcon hockey, as Bowling Green is about, 10 minutes away from puck drop, where we'll send it out to Ben Korak in the Slater Family Ice Arena for your full coverage of that game. But we are going to do our own Pick the Stick. There are 3 studio analysts in the studio today, but make sure to head over to BG Falcon Media on X for the official Pick the Stick challenge. That game is very fun for Falcon Media Sports Network, so make sure to head over to that for the official Pick the Stick. But do you guys have a player you guys want to pick for tonight?
I would say I'm going to take Ben Durant. I mean, he scored right away, and I could tell Gavin, he had his eye on Ben Durant, but I'm going to take Ben Durant. He scored that first goal in last night's loss against St. Thomas, so I think he's going to have another strong performance here tonight, so I'm going to go with Ben Durant.
Yeah, I'm going to go with No More No. He had a strong game last night, too, and he's had a strong season so far, so I could see him doing well tonight as well.
You know what? I was going to pick Ben Durant. That was the guy that I was looking at as Gustav is out. I really thought that Ben Durant was going to step up for tonight. I mean, obviously, I feel like the easy pick would be Quinn Emerson, but I think I'm going to go with Tyler Hodgson. Tyler Hodgson's been on kind of a hot streak lately with assists. I mean, he's 15 on the year with 8 goals. So I think I'm going to take Tyler Hodgson, but make sure to head over to Falcon Media Sports Network on X for the official Pick the Stick, where Ben Korak, Tyler Kavlitz, Lucas Kleinmeyer, and a Falcon Media Sports Network's analyst will be picking their players for tonight. What is it? 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist?
Yes.
So make sure to head over to that. I don't know what the rankings are at the moment, but we can pull that up later as we get into the second or after the first intermission. We're stepping away here on WBGU 88.1 for our final thoughts before we send it to Ben Korak in the Slater Family Ice Arena for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on St. Thomas here on WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon hockey.
BGSU men's basketball guard Javante Campbell made a game-winning layup against Toledo with 1.6 seconds remaining on February 21st, 2025, giving BG their first win at Savage Arena since 2021. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call of the shot on Falcon Radio.
It's Campbell with the ball, driving inside, layup's no good, rebounded by Exact, the putback's no good, Johnson fights for it, it's kicked back out to Exact, inside to Campbell, Campbell puts the layup, it goes with 1.6 seconds remaining. Javante Campbell with the huge shot, possible shot of the year for Bowling Green. They take the lead with 1.6 seconds remaining over Toledo, 69-68.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Falcon Media Sports Network now has a pregame and postgame show, along with intermission reports for every BGSU hockey broadcast, starting 25 minutes before each game. Make sure to tune in to hear insights and knowledge from Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. You can listen to every broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. Also streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
On November 30th, 2024, BGSU women's basketball defeated Arkansas 79-78. The win over the SEC opponent was arguably the biggest of the Fred Shamil era in Bowling Green. Falcon Media Sports Network's Caden Knapp had the call on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Tightly guarded by Velasco. 5 seconds on the clock. Passing out. There's a three from the far side wing. No good. It's no good. Laura Gerke gets the rebound, and the BGSU Falcons have defeated the Arkansas Razorbacks, coming back from 14 down to win 79-78. A huge team win.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
WBGU, as we are minutes away from sending out to Ben Korak in the Slater Family Ice Arena for coverage of this game, Bowling Green taking on St. Thomas. But Artie Abrego has the goalies for tonight's game.
Yeah, so for starting for BG tonight in the net, it'll be Jacob Steinman. So on the season, he's got a .916 save percentage, 7 wins, 3 losses, and 3 ties. So he's been a pretty solid in the goal position for the Falcons all season long. And then for St. Thomas, it's going to be Aaron Trotter. He's played a couple seasons for St. Thomas. He has 7 wins on the season, 3 losses and 1 tie. So he's been pretty similar stats, and also the same save percentage as Steinman. So they're pretty similar in terms of their record so far this season.
I mean, and this is kind of what Coach Willie did last week. Moore played the first game and Steinman played the second game. So, I mean, they went out last week when they played Notre Dame in that, 10 shootout game. Absolutely nuts. So Steinman, absolutely good call for that. Any final thoughts before we send it out to Ben?
Yeah, just say the Falcons have to stay competitive tonight despite their circumstances. Tommy is a better ranked team. You got Gustav Storenberg out tonight, but they just have to go in with the same kind of spirit they did last night, and maybe that can get them a win tonight.
Based on the stretch of games they've had, I think there's going to be another competitive game that's going to go down to the final period. I mean, we've seen it against Notre Dame and now last night against St. Thomas, so I think it's going to be more of the same. Falcons just got to have to stay tough and just got to fight through the adversity tonight.
I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be down to that third period because I feel like that's Falcon hockey. They keep it close within the first period, they keep it close. The second period, they start scoring, and then the third period is where they try to pull it away. Definitely thinking that's how the cookie's going to crumble tonight. But if you guys were interested here on WBGU 88.1 for coverage of this game, we mentioned Pick the Stick earlier today, and we did our picks on the Pick the Stick, which is on Falcon Media Sports Network on X. Ben picked Quinn Emerson. Lucas took Tyler Hodson. That was my pick, so I feel like pretty confident right there. Tyler took Jaden Grant, and FMSN pick was Ben Duran, which Ben is currently in the lead with 24. He just took over Lucas, who's at 23. Tyler's at 21, and FMSN is at 20. So we're going to step away, and then we will probably send it straight out to Ben Korak in the Slater Family Ice Arena. You're listening to WBGU 88.1. Thanks for joining us here on the pregame show. We'll be back after the first intermission here on WBGU 88.1.
The BGSU women's swim and dive team capped off their historic regular season on January 31st with a commanding 227-124 victory over rival Toledo in the Battle of I-75. The win marked their first triumph over the Rockets since 2022 and served as a fitting finale to a remarkable regular season. The Falcons finished with an impressive 13-3 overall record, including a 3-1 mark in conference competition and a dominant 5-0 record at home. Their blazing 12-0 start to the season set the tone for the year, standing as the program's best opening and most successful regular season in nearly 5 decades. The Falcons now prepare for the MAC Championship in Akron, Ohio from February 25th to February 28th, seeking their first MAC Championship since 1981. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
BG Hockey finishes their weekend series against St. Thomas at the Slater Family Ice Arena on Saturday, February 7th.
Falcon Media Sports Network's Gavin Gill, Kevin Hutchinson, and Artie Abrego will start the broadcast with a pregame show at 5:45 p.m. before Ben Korak and Vaughn Allum call the game at 6:07 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM,
your home for Falcon hockey.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
Here from the Slater Family Ice Arena, myself, Ben Korak, and Vaughn Ullum from the Falcon Media Sports Network here for Game 2 of the Falcons and the St. Thomas Tommies hockey programs matching up again. Vaughn, you did our social media yesterday. You're on the broadcast today. You're first as a Falcon Media Sports Network member. One, that's exciting. Two, you had a heck of a seat for a very good game yesterday between the Falcons and the Tommies.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you saw it from the very, very beginning. BG kind of having a much better first period. Then St. Thomas proved that they are indeed one of those top-ranked teams in the nation. They came out and eventually were able to close it. They didn't really lead throughout the entirety of that game, but until they were able to put in that overtime winner.
3-2, the final in overtime. The Falcons and the Tommies met up in St. Paul earlier on this season. That series ended in a 3-2 overtime victory for the Falcons and then a 6-2 victory for the Tommies the second night. The Tommies will look to replicate that tonight, and they'll start with an early power play. It's going to be 2 minutes for cross-checking to Quinn Emerson, who's wearing the A for alternate captain today. And Gustav Sternberg suspended for today's game for 3 game misconducts that he has accrued throughout this season. And now he's on a short lease. Every game misconduct he takes from here for the rest of the season, he'll get a subsequent suspension the game after. St. Thomas in on an early power play. They scored 2 on 4 attempts yesterday. Cheslock back up to the point. Van Vliet with the puck. Gave it back up to the point at the blue line. Shot in. Knocked down in front of Steinman, the goaltender for the Falcons. Sturzer getting in front of the blue paint. And he's shrugged away by the Falcons, and the puck is covered up.
Yeah, Steinman needs to get these early looks just for the sake of both of the regulation goals for St. Thomas yesterday came on the power play. So it's going to be big to just get these little things going early for Steinman and just do the little things right early in this, unfortunately, early power play. But if he's able to kill it, that can also give a little bit of momentum over the Orange and Brown.
4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie, and Jacob Steinman's last 6 games played. His only loss was 21 saves and 1 goal allowed. That was here against Lake Superior State. He lost 1-0 with a .955 save percentage, so an unfortunate game there, and he's played fantastic since the turn of the year. Van Vliet back up to the blue line, playing the puck on the right side, Alex Gaffney. Fake slap shot there. Cheslock, who's looking for a shooting lane, he'll give it up. Van Vliet, a shot blocked up at the top by Brandon Wynot, and that'll go into the netting, and it'll freeze play again. 19-10 to go in the first period, and a $1:20 to go in the power play for St. Thomas.
Yeah, you can tell early on in this power play for St. Thomas that they are very much in control. BG much more clustered in front of the net. They're really trying to get these block shots instead of actually pressuring out, which makes sense, of course, when you lose the game primarily due to the power play goals that came for the Tommies yesterday.
2 goals on the power play, both by Nathan Pilling. He's continuing to add on to a big slate this season. There from the right side, Alex Gaffney. He feeds one right through Steinman, and an early power play goal for St. Thomas.
Well, that's exactly what the Tommies needed early on, just getting that power play back, in action once again. Of course, when you're getting one through early, that'll kind of just suck the life out of BG. If BG was able to kill that, that could give them a lot more confidence going throughout this game, understanding that you can make mistakes throughout, but now St. Tommy's is punishing them for every single mistake it seems like they make, and so it's a big 1-0 lead, less than a minute into this first period.
17th goal of the season for Alex Gaffney, that one on the power play, and St. Thomas still has not scored even strength besides the overtime game winner yesterday by Nick Williams, the defenseman, and that even one of the Falcons was caught behind the play, so they've really taken advantage of the Falcons with a man down. As there's Simonovic, he stood up a Tommy's center ice, the puck back into the Bowling Green end, and will play even strength now. St. Thomas with a 1-0 lead. On the right wing side, a centering pass blocked by the Falcon stick. Simonovic on a pairing today, was extra skating the last couple of games. He recovers the puck there, and that suspension to Gustav Stjernberg certainly helps his ice time, especially Jack Blake as well, extra skating today. Shot in from the left side, shrugged away by Aaron Trotter, the senior goaltender for St. Thomas. The first time the puck's been in toward him today, and he's able to make a save. Karodiak will go back check and grab the puck. Trotter, 3 goals allowed and an overtime loss to BG earlier this season. And St. Thomas, 2 games started versus Bowling Green last season, 7 goals allowed and a below 900 save percentage. So the Falcons have been able to solve him, and Vaughn, they'll try and do it again today.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's, again, just starting off early when you get these good forechecks coming in, and right now, of course, they're stealing it in the neutral zone as they try to honestly just put a couple of good looks on net. Early in this one, of course, it may not even feel like you're down 1-0. It'll really feel like you can get back into this.
Nick Williams recovered the puck, the transfer this season from Michigan Tech. As the Falcons are whistled offsides, it'll come back out to the neutral zone. It's rare you see a player from the CCHA transferred to another CCHA team, but that's what Nick Williams did, especially from a successful Michigan Tech team. Played 2 seasons there, 59 games played, 13 points, plus 15 rating, and additionally won the 2024 Mason Cup. He's got 16 points already this season, which is more than his last 2 seasons combined with Michigan Tech, so he's found his stride here in the purple and white. Niedermeyer collects the puck. Adam Zlinka up the right wing. He's extra skating for the Falcons today as Niedermeyer steers Cheslak into the boards and turns the puck into a loose puck. And it'll come back out to center ice, played by Godbout in the neutral zone. Sloan in, a couple of Falcons digging for the puck. They get it back to Jackson Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer back to Zlinka. Zlinka up the right wing. He forces it ahead. Been a while since we've seen an Adam Zlinka score, mainly because he's was injured a solid chunk of this 2026 season. His only 1 game played since the second game against Ohio State, and his only 2 full series played this season, and his last point was in Minnesota State earlier on in November of 2025.
Right, and it's big to get those points going against a big team like Minnesota State, a team that's really been rather dominant throughout this season, elsewhere outside of the CCHA included, and so it's interesting to see if Zlinka is able to put that up later on in the next home series.
Quentin Pepper behind the net of Jacob Steinman, looks to wrap it around, defended nicely by Simonovic, who presses Quentin Pepper into the boards. Pepper seemingly about the same size as Richard Simonovic. The puck came off its moorings, so we'll stop play and reset that and drop puck to the left of Steinman.
Yeah, I have no idea how that came out of place.
Yeah,
The play completely off on the far side dot, but what can you do? Good job of the referee to honestly track that down.
1-0 lead for St. Thomas, 16:30 to go in the first period. The goal early by Alex Gaffney. He had it from the right side, a wrist shot as he worked in from the blue line, and all 3 goals this weekend in regulation scored on the power play for St. Thomas. Limiting penalties is going to be big for the Falcons going into the last 56 minutes of gameplay here this weekend. Emerson in the boards, he took that penalty that resulted in the power play goal for Gaffney. He works it down south of the goal line, plays it out to the left wing corner, and is pinned up by Hayes Hundley, the freshman defenseman. Puck away and down the left wing, Godbell lifts it out to center ice. McKinley fiending with Ryan O'Neal. Falcons with the turnover. 3 ahead, 2 on defense for St. Thomas. Into Duran. Duran backhand pass, doesn't land to anybody. Another shot in. Rebound try for Waters. Backdoor Duran. He scores. Falcons tie it up.
Perfect rebound opportunity that time for BG. I mean, that's what you need on the good pressure moving forward. I mean, you're, of course, down 1-0. That'll kind of take some life out of you, but obviously if you're getting these good looks, you're getting the rebound chances, it's good to just stay on your feet, and they were able to poke one through with Ben Duran, who was completely aware of that puck placement in the crease.
Duran and Waters working in front of Aaron Trotter, who's beaten for the first time today. Looked like Waters did get a touch on that, so probably going to get an assist, but the Falcons tie it up 1-1, 15:50 to go in the first period. That's a much-needed goal for Bowling Green to get back on the board, make this even, and that's the first 5-on-5 goal of the weekend as well. We've had 3 power play goals from St. Thomas, an overtime 3-on-3 goal, and 1 power play goal for Bowling Green, as well as a 4-on-4.
Yeah, we'll have to look throughout this game, see if that's something to keep an eye on. Of course, if it does not keep at 5-on-5, it really feels like everybody here in the Slater Family Ice Arena is just going to hold their breath because you never know what's going to go on.
Pushed ahead by Pilling, race for the puck. Grant loses it to Sturzer, who takes it into the corner. Van Vliet there as well, and he sweeps it out to the blue line. St. Thomas in the offensive zone. Cole Miller with the shot in. The defenseman from the blue line with Pullman. Puck comes out to Pullman after the missed shot. Van Vliet up at the blue line. He fires it in, blocked by a couple of Falcons, Niedermeyer and Jaden Grant, those two. Niedermeyer had a career-high 5 blocks yesterday. An impressive cell job from him in multiple critical junctures of the game, and he skated quite a bit, especially with the absence of Gustav Stjernberg after the 3:50 to go mark in the first period. Into the corner, pressed up is the puck. Jack Blake working against the Tommies to try and dig the puck loose. Able to do so briefly, pinned back up, and now worked again out. Here's Quinn Emerson. He skates it outside of his blue line. Luke Leyland pressing up against him. Nick Williams, the defenseman, the first into the zone for the Tommies. Poked ahead by Morneau. Falcons get a change. A couple of guys on and a couple off. Out to center ice, a neutral zone turnover. The Falcons on sides. Down the right wing works Brandon Wynot. His shot, a good one, but missed wide left against Trotter. Down behind the net again, Hayes Hundley with Brandon Wynot. 2 freshmen. Puck back out at the blue line. Held there by Braden Crampton. He knocked it back down to fellow freshman Wynot. Zlinka back up to the blue line. Simonovic back behind the goal line again. The Falcons love working from behind the net. They do so very well, and most of their goals this season come occurring right around the net and around the blue paint. Love to see a heat chart on where their goals have been scored this year because they're all from around that area. Puck back into the Falcon end. They'll recover without a lot of pressure. 13:25 to go in the first, a tie game. The most recent goal, Ben Duran at the 4:05 mark. Waters from the high slot. His shot is saved by Aaron Trotter and will stop play again for a face-off to his left.
Yeah, we'll see how the Falcons approach some of these open lanes now. Of course, when you got that 1 goal coming for you on the rebound opportunity, trying to create some pressure out in front. That time, not honestly a bad shot, just went right to the crest of the jersey. On the other side, though, if you are one of the Tommies, you're thinking, let's just throw anything we can out there because it snuck through the 5-hole on their really one of their first shots of the night.
Duran loses the draw. St. Thomas takes it up. The Falcons led in faceoffs yesterday. That's something they pride themselves on. Still one of the top teams in the NCAA in that department, much less number 1 in the CCHA in faceoffs won and faceoff winning percentage. Just offsides are the Falcons. Ahead for Brody Waters, that first line trying to work inside the blue line. These top 2 lines for Bowling Green especially, Vaughn, can't imagine that there's too many lines that you could consider better. Ben Duran, Tyler Hodson, Brody Waters, the first line, and Dominic Ryman, Noah Morneau, and Quinn Emerson. They had some great success earlier on in the season before Noah Morneau's injury. That's a great 1-2 punch there with those.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, these are guys that have a lot of chemistry, and you can see it when they hit the ice no matter what. I mean, that's where you're going to see some hits. That's where you're going to see just a well-rounded 3 guys of hockey, no matter if it's the first line or that second line, as you mentioned. I mean, guys that could just connect as this one goes out.
Ahead for Jaden Grant. He works down the left side. Van Vliet gives him a check. Grant fires it in wildly into Aaron Trotter, who holds on. Cole Miller, Ty Higgins getting into a little bit of a shoving match, but that aggression doesn't boil over into anything, and we're going to get a face-off next to Aaron Trotter.
Right, and that's the thing, not even just the first two lines. I mean, you see it throughout the depth of this Falcons team. Of course, when you got the center and Jaden Grant coming out there and recepting a good pass from behind him, I mean, this is a team that can move quickly, and it's got that chemistry to make these passes connect when they need them to. And so almost a great opportunity for BG to strike on the second already.
The second line out, Quinn Emerson, Dominic Ryman, Noah Morneau. Emerson wearing an A today for Bowling Green, and he's doing so because of Gustav Stjernberg not in the lineup for his suspension. And there's, I assume, a rule about how many captains, how many letters can be on the ice. Jaden Grant wearing an A as well as the fellow senior forward Quinn Emerson. Emerson with the puck back in his defensive zone. Big pass around the net. McKinley up through neutral ice. Morneau ahead down the left wing. Drop pass back. Back to Morneau. Down to the goal line. Morneau shot, and a save made by Trotter off of his right shoulder and up into the net. Nice chance there for the Falcons, who lead in shots on goal and looking for their second goal of the game.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a big shift, in my opinion, for Quinn Emerson. Of course, wearing that A, as you mentioned, he's coming into this one, of course, as the one guy on the penalty, but now actually switching out. But, yeah, it's interesting to see how Emerson will progress throughout this first period. Of course, you're the guy that had the penalty that led to the first goal of the game for the Tommies. So if you are Quinn Emerson, it's just how are you going to respond to that? Maybe you want to go out there for a little bit of revenge, but we'll see.
Down the left wing comes Tyler Hodson. He feeds it across the slot and the blue paint, but nobody there to clean up his pass. Another shot in, deflected away, and now St. Thomas comes the other way. Gaffney, who's got the goal for the Tommies, he fires it in, but nothing in the offensive zone materializing for St. Thomas, and now the Falcons will take it up. A lot of times yesterday, St. Thomas would take it into the offensive zone, and only a couple of times they would actually get sustained pressure with the puck in the O zone. So that's going to be something they look to generate today. Lucky on a couple of their plays that the Falcons gave them man advantages that they were able to score on. Again, Nathan Pilling, 2 power play goals yesterday, the only 2 goals for St. Thomas in regulation.
Yeah, if you didn't have that extra man advantage for the guys in purple, I mean, that would have been, of course, a completely different game. We wouldn't have gone to overtime. I mean, the St. Thomas Tommies were really just able to, as you mentioned, not get any really good sustained pressure throughout that first period specifically, where it was mainly all Falcons. But then when you come in to get that man advantage, especially on that 5-minute major on Stjernberg, it was really where the script kind of flipped.
Cheslock with the puck in his own zone, a stretch pass up. The Falcon defense staying back. It's going to be an icing with no touch from Lepai. And he'll come back down into the end of the purple and white. 1-1 tie, 10:53 to go in the first period, approaching immediate timeout with 2 scores already. We had 2 first period goals yesterday, one by Brody Waters, one by Nathan Pilling, both on the power play and both after the halfway point in the first period. So we've already had a better scoring pace tonight, and we'll see how that progresses as the game does as well. Higgins with the puck, a bank pass down and in deep again for Emerson and Dominic Ryman. Ryman backhands it in toward Trotter, who is able to make the save, shut it off. Falcon bench wanted a penalty, nothing coming. Willie is incensed on the bench for the Falcons, and now they'll settle it down and go back at it. And icing's going to be called against the Falcons on a stretch. Bowling Green not too happy with an O call. I didn't see anything really, Vaughn. What did you see?
I didn't see anything either. So now we go back to the other side. We go back to that BG side. And it's really going to be interesting to see how the face-offs go throughout this game as well. St. Thomas barely getting the edge in face-offs, I believe, last night. At least they did throughout those first 2 periods. And then you just got to see if they can't get any sustained pressure in the 5-on-5, then these face-offs are going to mean everything.
Van Vliet, a nice shot right off the draw from Nathan Pilling, and it's covered up and held by Jacob Steinman. Pilling took a bunch of faceoffs yesterday, as a lot of the Tommy centermen did, mainly because Jake Brasini was crushed by Stjernberg in the first period. He exited the game with an injury to what looked like his nose and his face area, is not in the lineup today, so hoping he's okay, but some of the faceoff slack and 3 centermen having to pick up that slack today, and Nathan Pilling, the biggest one of those, the biggest faceoff winner yesterday for St. Thomas. He loses the faceoff here. The Falcons take it up. Max Martin with Niedermeyer and Jeremy Minville. Martin, south of the goal line, pins up Williams, who gets the puck away before the pin from Max Martin. Back up to the blue line, nearly intercepted by Van Vliet, but his play caused the puck to come out to neutral ice. Higgins to poke it ahead, now on the left wing boards, and the Falcons take it up and in again. Trotter stops it behind his net. Jaden Grant in with speed against the referee, and Nick Williams as well. Puck pinned up. The Falcons sweep it back up blue line. McKinley with the blue line. Shot in. Knocked down. A block cell by Nick Williams. It's cleared away by St. Thomas. The Falcons will try and keep the pressure on. Now Karodiak will have to retreat after a bad pass by McKinley. But possession for the Falcons. Breck McKinley off the half wall. Up and a touch from Duran. No touch. As he pushes the Tommy into the net as he was going for the puck there. Not too happy with the play will be the Tommy, and it'll be an icing against the Falcons anyway, so they'll get tired here with 9:33 to go in the first.
Yeah, well, of course, how could you be satisfied with that play? I mean, he had the pass open. Duran on the right side, on the near side boards, was really wanting something to go his way, and of course the puck just flew right on by his outstretched stick. So now, as a result, he's the guy that I believe is going to be here in the face-off, Dot. He's got to face the consequences.
9:33 to go in the first, 1-1 the score. Next break will be our media timeout, and when it comes to the end of this period, we'll have our Rick Crow first intermission report. At Gavin, Nate, and Artie back in the Cooling Center studios. We'll talk you through both intermissions today and post-game, as they did talk to you in the pregame as well. Waters with the puck on the right wing face-off dot in the O zone. He loses the puck. It's cleared away by St. Thomas again. They're trying all they can to get the puck out of the offensive zone, although not too much sustained pressure from the Falcons. Now St. Thomas takes it up for some offense of their own. They're turned away at the blue line by Falcon defense. Puck back into Bowling Green's end. They're going to be the first to be back. Crampton and Simonovic back on defense. 8:50 to go in the first. The Falcons leading in shots on goal, 9-3. That's the tail of the possession as well. It's been all Falcons all of this first period, as it was a lot of the first period yesterday.
And, of course, a lot of minutes there for the first line, and those are going to be the guys that are able to get some of that best sustained pressure in their shift, and so now you just see them hopping off. We'll see if that remains here as the Tommies are able to get the ozone turnover.
Higgins makes a play, gets around Lucas Wallen, who set up the game-tying goal. Nathan Pilling yesterday on the power play. That in the second period, so does the game-tying goal, although early on. Falcons with some offense now. Shot in, why not? Puck on the slot after the rebound, and no Falcon in there to clear it up. Ryan O'Neill will be the first into the Falcons zone. He'll touch the puck first as well and immediately get pinned up by the Ukrainian defenseman for the Falcons, Ivan Karodiak. Karodiak pinning it up with his right skate. Niedermeyer battling in as well. Quentin Pepper as well as Ryan O'Neill. Puck is cleared out to the slot. The Falcons take it away. Morneau through the middle, now out to the right wing. He's got Emerson with him, defended by Bauer Barry down behind the goal line. That's freshman on freshman, Barry and Morneau. And Barry wins the battle as he gets the puck pinned up. Loose puck battle there in the corner of the Falcon offensive zone. Come away to the purple and white and immediately pinned back up again. 7:30 to go in the first. 1-1 the score with the puck pinned up in the St. Thomas end of the ice.
Yeah, St. Thomas right now playing it physical as here we get a rush moving.
Down the left wing works Casey Leyland. His shot, glove save made. A nice one there by Steinman to squander that opportunity for St. Thomas, and that'll take us to our first Juniper Brewing Company timeout. Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 1-1 the score, Bowling Green and St. Thomas, Game 2 in the slate. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
BG Women's Golf escapes the cold to compete in the BGSU Women's Intercollegiate in Litchfield Park, Arizona on Tuesday, February 10th and Wednesday, February 11th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dan Ridenauer will have the recap of all the results and action on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
St. Thomas here in the Slater Family Ice Arena for the final time as a conference opponent of the Falcons. They will be moving to the NCHC after the end of the CCHA season, so they're trying to make a splash in their final year, the CCHA, and they're set up to do it real well. First in the conference currently, trying to chase some more points today as they took 2 yesterday against the Falcons out of 3 available. Head coach Rico Blasi has now taken 2 teams from the CCHA, or next year will have taken 2 teams from the CCHA to the NCHC. He took Miami there in 2013. Didn't end too well for him. A very much losing record, and he got fired in 2019. Now he's taken St. Thomas to the same spot and trying to have better success with the Tommies than he did with the Redhawks.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, in the NCHC, I believe that's the conference in which Arizona State was. I'm just coming over from there, and that's a tough conference, but of course it's same kind of thing in the CCHA. No matter where you stand in your rankings, it's going to be competitive no matter what. I mean, Arizona State was, while I was out there taking down all of these different opponents, while they were also getting taken down by teams that were supposedly less than them. So it's never about where your ranking is and where you lie. It's about the rivalry.
Slap shot into Steinman. He saves it. A rebound, never gets another shot off at him. St. Thomas with a little bit of pressure here. Sturtzer behind the goal line. The Falcons with an easy defensive recovery, and now up to Brody Waters in neutral ice. His pass to Duran deflected off of Van Vliet, who was there defensively. He's arguably played better defensively this series than he has offensively. Believe he does not have a point yet unless something changes in the coming days after review of who actually got points. 6:40 to go in the first period coming out of the media timeout. 1-1 the score. Shot in towards Steinman, missed wide right. The Falcons recover the puck that was on the near side boards up to center ice. BG pokes it ahead and will go for a change. Higgins will skate back, grab the puck. 2-man forecheck for St. Thomas. 3-man Gaffney in there to turn the puck over. Bowling Green skates it out. A 3-on-3 going the other way. Max Martin tries to find Higgins, but it's deflected and ate up by Nathan Pilling. Held inside the blue line. Nice play there by Higgins. A shot in toward Trotter. Another save made by Trotter as it goes off the half wall and back to Max Martin. Ty Higgins made a great play at the blue line to hold the puck in. The Falcons got some offense and a shot on goal off of it. 6 minutes to go in the first. 1-1. Falcons still in the O zone. Grant gives it up. Minville shot. Oh, just wide left. A nice shot there by the freshman. Back up to center ice. Breakaway here. Down the left wing comes Gaffney. Gives it up. Back. O'Neal. Save made! What a play from Steinman to squander the opportunity. Gaffney and O'Neal are shut down.
Are you kidding me? Steinman had every excuse to let that one come through, but a phenomenal save on the near side post. There was Higgins over there on the other side to really keep the pressure in, but eventually it was just too much pressure out there for St. Thomas to clear it out of their side. They end up with a 2-on-0 opportunity, and Steinman keeps this one somehow a 1-1 score.
Gaffney went to celebrate thinking that it was in, but the sprawling save by the freshman goaltender, Steinman picking up his defenseman. A bad break for Bowling Green that ended up as a good break for the Falcon goaltender, and it stays 1-1.
Yeah, that's one way to get momentum. It's not obviously the cleanest way to do so, but it's one way, and now hopefully they can make something happen with the energy.
Wallen on the near side boards puts it into the curved wall. O'Neal looks to dig it out. He does so, but McKinley is there first for the orange and brown. The Falcons wearing their white sweaters, mostly white jerseys today with the brown shorts, of course. Up the left wing comes Morneau, battling against the purple and white of the St. Thomas Tommies. Morneau behind the goal line again. Back up to Emerson, who's pinned up against the boards. Ryman with the puck. All 3 forwards were there on the left side, trying to get the puck back to the Falcons. Possession big for this Bowling Green team and is going to be today. They dominated 5-on-5 yesterday, and it was the power play, and it was the man advantages for St. Thomas, and the 3-on-3 that ended up being the difference maker in the game. And of course, head coach Dennis Williams wanting to play more 5-on-5 today, considering they did so well at it yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, in the 5-on-5, that's where the puck possession came in, as you said. It was where you weren't in 5-on-5 where it was really the killer.
Centering pass into Godbout. His shot blocked by what looked to be Niedermeyer. He's got 5 this weekend, already has 1 today, and if that registers as him, that'll be his 7th of the weekend on blocked shots, and it's still the first period in game 2. Behind the goal line, the puck recovered by Higgins in his own zone. Godbout another shot blocked up high by Sloan, who took a stinger up on his shoulder. Zlinko with the puck, back to Higgins, and Bowling Green's Higgins, and Niedermeyer will settle down with the puck. 4 minutes to go in the first period, 1-1 the score. Puck forced up down the far side. Why not to chase? Waters in there as well. St. Thomas takes it up to neutral ice. Steinman has to stop it behind his net. Kind of fans on the puck, but the body is taken out of the play by Braden Crampton. Again, the defenseman for Bowling Green playing without their alternate captain, maybe the best defenseman on the team, and that's Gustav Sternberg. And the net comes off again. That's the second time Steinman's net has come off its pegs. 3:40 to go in the first. We have a whistle, and we're going to get a faceoff.
Again, it's interesting to see because the first time the play was completely far away. It was on the far side faceoff dot. Same kind of story this time. Behind the net, not really close was the net to the play, but still at the end of the day, if it comes off, the referee's got to blow it, and that's exactly what they do.
So Falcons and Tommies will get a change. The faceoff will come out to central ice. Key injuries for the Falcons this weekend as well. Brett Foe likely going to be out for the long haul. He's took some broken ribs and a punctured lung last week against Notre Dame in the overtime period between the Falcons and the Fighting Irish here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. And then also another senior and the captain, Dalton Norris, out for at least a little bit. He is apparently out of his boot, but his high ankle sprain is still recovering, and he's trying to be in certainly before playoffs, if not being able to affect the Falcons for the next couple of weeks as they make a strive for the as high a seed as they can get in the CCHA. Falcons on a two-man forecheck. St. Thomas settles the puck down and now takes it up the right wing. It's fired in and stopped behind the net by Steinman. The Falcons will get there first. Seems like they're first to every puck back in their own zone here up Vaughn. Almost a turnover there in front of Steinman, though.
Yeah, and here in transition, BG just trying to make something work. Of course, they're going to get a shot here that goes wide, but BG just putting on a lot more pressure, and I think that's exactly because they get back all the time, back playing good defense, getting to the pucks first, back in their own side. Good back check has made, honestly, a good forecheck.
A high hit try by Noah Morneau, and ducking under it was Alex Gaffney. He gets the puck away and turns that into some offensive zone possession time for St. Thomas. Miller holds it in. Gaffney feeds it in. O'Neill was being pinned up by McKinley and tied up as well. Gaffney another shot. Deflected in front by O'Neill. A backdoor chance for Cole Miller. And now going the other way are the Falcons. Miller was late to the party, but Mason Poolman and Lucas Wallen skating back at the blue line, and they stopped that chance for Bowling Green.
Yeah, BG wanted a penalty near side in front of their bench. One of the coaches raising his hand, but they're not going to give it to him. They wanted, I believe, an interference penalty because there was a man outside of the play, but I think it was just incidental contact. The referee not really going to give that to him.
110 seconds to go in the first period. And we get another whistle as in the bended boards in the Falcon end of the ice. Waters John a bit with what looks to be Luke Leyland. We have a tie game going into the last minute 40 of this first period. Casey Leyland, Luke Leyland, both brothers on this St. Thomas team. Luke, the senior, Casey, a sophomore, and their father, Corey Leyland, is an assistant coach for the St. Thomas team. 3 Leyland on in the Slater Family Ice Arena today, were yesterday as well. And Luke Leyland will graduate this season, but Casey Leyland and likely Corey Leyland will stay around in their respective roles with the Tommies. Very rare you get to see 3 members of a family in the same arena, much less on the same team.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a fun one here. It's got to be a fun one on the St. Thomas squad when you got all 3 of those guys all within the same organization. So, honestly, it's also got to help your chemistry as a team, no doubt. I mean, especially since you've known each other from day one.
And icing against the Falcons. Maybe some brotherly competition as well. Luke Leyland, 6 points in 29 games played this season. Casey Leyland, 5 points in 15 games played, playing on the first line with Attila Lapai, the freshman, and Quentin Pepper, the senior. Luke Leyland playing with Dylan Godbout and Josh Giuliani today. Luke Shelter also working in with Giuliani. The extra skating forward for St. Thomas is Shelter. Still on the dot, Falcons come up with the faceoff. Jaden Grant up the right wing. He takes a tumble, a hit a bit low on Grant there. Went for about thigh height, maybe lower. Trotter is hit behind his net. Now the Falcons and the Tommies getting into a big scrum behind the blue paint in the St. Thomas end of the ice. Play is blown dead, I'm sure. The stick's in the air. Trotter went down to play the puck. He ended up on his back. We'll have to see the replay here to see really what happened.
Yeah, I mean, typically if the man's playing the puck, it can be a clean play, but that time, BG throughout this game started things off a lot less physical than St. Thomas, but now you can see BG is not letting anything go there, letting every hit fly. And, yeah, let's get a look at this second one. Yeah, I mean, playing the puck, and it wasn't exactly a hit. It was just some contact drawn behind the net, but, I mean, no matter what, if that's going to happen, I mean, you're going to get some hands flying right afterward. And it looks like still here a penalty will be assessed, and Grant's a little surprised.
Interference is going to be called against Minville. He was the one that, again, like Vaughn said, you said it right, he didn't really give him a hit, but kind of backed up into him and ended up knocking him down to the ice. Aaron Trotter not necessarily on the biggest end of the goaltenders we've seen here. Cole Moore, 6'6". Carson Musser yesterday for St. Thomas, 6'4". Aaron Trotter at 6'2". And it looks like we're just going to settle down with one penalty against Bowling Green. And on the only other penalty of the game for St. Thomas, they were able to score. Alex Gaffney from Leyland and Cheslock.
Yeah, if you've been with us for the series, I mean, this is right now, of course, for the remainder of this first period, you're just going to be holding your breath for the next minute 26 of this period because, I mean, St. Thomas just consistently able to find the back of the net whenever they have been on the man advantage, and it's going to be up to the face-off guys to really just try to clear this quickly if they can.
Back up to the blue line, face-off win for St. Thomas. Nick Williams gives it back to the right wing side, and his defensive partner Hundley shot in, blocked by Wynot. A minute 15 to go in the first period, a tie game. To the right side, Nathan Pilling in his office. The Falcons recover the puck and clear it down. You really got to keep an eye on that left side if you're Bowling Green. And Nathan Pilling, he had both power play goals yesterday from that side.
Right, and it was Williams to get that OT winner, but no matter what, I mean, when you're getting Pilling on, as you mentioned, on that right wing side, I mean, he's got a great shot, and he's really going to try to put something together once again. He doesn't think two is enough in this series.
Morneau recovers the puck. He is able to clear it down just outside the blue line. Nick Williams circles with it out to center ice. Emerson going on the forecheck. He's shoved down by Pilling, maybe a bit away from the play. The Falcons wanted an interference call against that. 30 seconds to go in the first period. St. Thomas trying to gain the entry. Simonovic, a high check outside of the blue line on Luke Leyland. Cheslock back to Hundley with Cheslock. Now to the right wing side, Gaffney. Second unit of forwards out there for St. Thomas, but the same defenseman. Shot in, deflected down in front. Lucas Wallen with a nice deflection. Oh, it's going to be whistled off. High sticking. Just above the bar was Wallen's stick. And most likely going to review this.
Can't imagine they wouldn't. I mean, that's definitely something you should be reviewing. But nothing yet.
No goal, high sticking. Doesn't look like a review right now. St. Thomas on a power play. The linesman's going to skate over to Rico Blasi and get the call from him. And it looks like they are going to take a look at this. So, a break for the Falcons at least. A break for the Falcons at least that the call on the ice was no goal, because they're going to have definitive evidence now that it was a goal instead of the other way around. And that's pretty close. Maybe looked a bit high of the bar, but that's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, exactly, as close as you can get. Typically, if you got the stick just a little bit higher than that 90-degree angle, that's where you're going to get the call. And as you mentioned, of course, the call right now is the no goal, and they got to have that definitive evidence to overturn that. I don't know if they're going to have that here.
I think the blade of the stick is about as high as Lucas Wallen, his head, and Wallen stands at 6 foot on skates, probably 6'2". Maybe taller than that. So I know that the crossbar is not that high, so I would imagine that this doesn't get overturned. Referees today in the slate: Andy Thackerberry, Andrew Rasky, and then linesmen Kyle Bushy and Pat Giles. So they're still taking a look at this. A big goal for St. Thomas. If they're able to overturn it and get credit for it, that would be a credited goal to Wallen on the power play. That would be his 19th of the season. and that would bring it to a 2-1 game, taking advantage of that penalty to Jeremy Minville.
Right. Well, if St. Thomas gets a goal here, I mean, every single time BG heads to the box, you're just going to be concerned. I mean, that would be now 4 goals in their power plays, and they can't put really anything together on 5-on-5, so it's really just kind of giving them an edge no matter what, even if it's consistent pressure or what, but it looks like we're about to get that call.
No goal. It is a high sticking against Wallen. So St. Thomas will try it again in the last 10 seconds of the first to try and get a power play goal. And if they don't, we'll have 34 seconds of power play for the Tommies to start the second period.
In my opinion, that's the right call. I mean, of course, if you got the man with the high sticking right in front of the goaltender or right next to the post, I mean, that's a lot easier to call. But he was in front of that crease, just a little bit too much distance to make a definitive call on where it stood on that crossbar.
What a call by the referee as well. Normally you see them just let it go and hope that the other team challenges, which maybe is the safer option. But to make the right call on the ice on a high stick is impressive for the referee crew here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Back into the Bowling Green end. Face-off win by St. Thomas. Gaffney was digging for the puck. Now has to go get his stick as he lost it. Centering right between the legs of Steinman. Comes out to neutral ice as the horn sounds. 1-1 the score here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Game 2 between the Falcons and the Tommies. It'll be unpacked by Artie, Gavin, and Nate back in the Cooling Center studios for the Rick Crow First Intermission Report. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Don't let biased algorithms, or degree screens, or exclusive professional networks, or stereotypes. Don't let anything keep you from discovering the half of the workforce who are stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time to tear the paper ceiling and see the stars beyond it. Find out how you can make stars part of your talent strategy at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Ever wanted to hear what a BGSU coach or player says after a game? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to watch post-game press conferences for all BGSU home volleyball, soccer, football, hockey, and basketball games.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
First intermission coverage here on WBGU 88.1. I am Gavin Gill. Your first intermission is brought to you by Rick Crow, longtime BGSU fan and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon Hockey. 1-1 is the current score of the Falcons taking on the Tommies as the first goal was Ben Duran. So, Artie, in our make-believe pick the stick, you get that point.
I have 2 make-believe imaginary points right now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Still looking for the for our picks, I guess, Nate.
Yeah.
But the other score was Alex Gaffney from Minnesota, or not Minnesota, my apologies, St. Thomas. That happened right at the beginning. Honestly, I feel
About
like
a
in
minute
studio, we got everything situated. We were like, holy cow, they already scored. So, quick scores. Bowling Green ended up scoring with 4:05 into the game. So, kind of like, what do you guys think, first half or first period reactions of this game?
Yeah, I'd say very much similar to yesterday's play starting off. I mean, we were at 1-1 yesterday at the end of the first period yesterday. Just feels like almost right now a little bit of a replay of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, St. Thomas, they scored off a power play, which they did twice yesterday. I mean, it's just more of the same. I mean, they scored off a power play in that first couple of minutes, and then BG manages to tie it up. And again, it's very similar. Both have taken, St. Thomas has taken 17 shots. BG has taken 16. BG has taken 10 shots on goal. St. Thomas has taken 8. So they're very evenly matched in between their matchups for the battle at the net. It's just a matter of how well they can defend going forward. It's definitely been a tough competitive game, but which we're used to seeing games like that at the Slater Family Ice Arena.
And with it being a tough competitive game, Bowling Green has already had 2 penalties with 4 minutes. After that big shot from Sternberg yesterday, I have a feeling maybe the Tommies are going to come in, and I had a feeling personally that they were going to come in with a little bit more of an edge on them and kind of get after the Falcons a little bit more. So the Tommies are kind of keeping themselves in check there. But
I mean, there was a little bit of a scuffle earlier in the first period. So I mean, there's still some tension blowing over between these two teams. I mean, of course, they're CCHA opponents, but you can definitely tell there may be a little more edge to it after that Sternberg hit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Falcons do that very well. They get underneath their opponent's skins very, very easily. But similar to kind of what we were predicting at the pregame show, close game at the beginning, and then we'll see what the Falcons can do in the second period. This is the Rick Crow first intermission report. We'll be right back after these messages.
Falcon men's basketball heads to DeKalb, Illinois as they return to Mid-American Conference play against Northern Illinois, seeking their 4th straight win against the Huskies on Wednesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. Check out bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the game and additional content.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
Back here live in the Coolin Center, my name is Gavin Gill. Sitting with me is Nate Hinners and Artie Abrego. We're going to do a round Falcon Media. Sorry, my apologies. We're going to do a round CCHA play, a round college hockey play, and a round BG athletics. Starting off with the round CCHA play right now. Currently, Augustana and Michigan Tech are in the third period, tied 3-3. We're waiting on that Ferris State and Bemidji State puck drop. That puck drop will be at 7:07, so we'll bring that up in the after the second period, in the second period intermission report. Around college hockey currently, the only kind of games that we're kind of keeping an eye on, I'm only looking at ranked games right now personally as we get to the back half of the season and we get into that Frozen Four mindset. Michigan taking on Michigan State. That game is being held in Detroit in the Little Caesars Arena. Michigan State is currently up 1-0 on Michigan. It is 8:33 left in the first period. Other games that kind of taking a look at, Western Michigan is up on Miami of Ohio. Western Michigan is 4th in the country right now, 1-0 for that game. Other games happening tonight, North Dakota will be taking on Minnesota Duluth. That is 3rd, taking on 10th. Puck drop will be at 7:07. No other really games that we're taking a look at. No other future opponents of Bowling Green that are playing today. So that is around CCHA and around college hockey. Nate, I'm going to send it over to you for a round Falcon Athletics.
Yeah, got some exciting broadcasts coming up, coverage coming up here as well from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Gymnastics coming up tomorrow at 2 o'clock from over at the Stroh Center. They're taking on Wilberforce and Fisk. That's coming up 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have photos, videos, and a recap on bgfalconmedia.com. Men's golf in action Monday through Tuesday down in Florida. That's got to feel pretty nice down there. But they're they're at the Lake Javota. I think I'm saying that right.
I would say you're saying that right. I have no idea.
The Lake Javota Invitational. That's down in Dade City, Florida. Again, going on Monday, Tuesday. Recap on bgfalconmedia.com. We'll also have a recap of women's golf. They're in action in Arizona at Litchfield Park. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. Like women's golf, men's golf. You know what? They might not be golf might not be what we're known for the best, but they get some nice places to go to in the winter.
Yes.
Florida, Arizona. I mean, I'm just saying.
They get out of here, where it's -4 degrees outside. But.
Yeah. Tuesday, women's basketball back in action. Will be right here on WBGU as Falcons take on Buffalo. A Tuesday night game for women's basketball, something we don't see very often, but will be happening Tuesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off here on WBGU 88.1 FM. I'll be here for it, so that's a bonus. Yep. And then Wednesday, men's basketball in action down over in Illinois, taking on Northern Illinois. And Artie, you will be on something for that.
I believe I'll be on something, probably recap or a preview or something along those lines.
We will not have a broadcast due to it being far away.
Very far away in Illinois.
But we will have coverage of it still.
And Artie is going to go over around what happened today in BG Athletics.
Yeah, so today it was basketball season. It was the MAC Sun Belt Challenge, the second part of the MAC Sun Belt Challenge for beginning the season. So today, the Lady Falcons were successful at the Stroh Center, 93-82 win. Falcons held the lead for 93% of the game. Joanna Bland Fitzpatrick, she scored a season and career high 21 points on 10 for 12 shooting. A very successful day for Fred Shamil and crew. They improved to 12-11 on the season, 8-3 at home. As for the men's basketball team, not as quite as successful. Just a pretty miserable game for the Falcons. A 91-54 loss against Arkansas State. BG was outscored 40-14 in the first half. I mean, despite scoring 40 points in the second, just wasn't enough as Arkansas State added 51. Just probably the worst game the Falcons have played all season long. Just a huge loss and a really detrimental loss this season, which doesn't affect the record in any way, but it will affect morale probably heading forward if they continue to play like they did today.
Yeah, I mean, men's basketball is kind of in a weird spot right now. I feel like both the men's and women's, they're right on the fringe of MAC tournament play. So that has been around CCHA play, around college hockey, and as well around Falcon athletics. We're going to step aside, and then we're going to give our first intermission kind of final thoughts going into the second period. You're listening to WBGU 88.1, your home for Falcon hockey.
My name is Kyle Blessing. I'm from BGSU men's soccer, and my Falcon 4 favorite hobbies are Kirby, which is a game created by BG men's soccer. My second favorite hobby would be Solid.io. I recently bought a PC and I've been gaming it. My third favorite hobby is playing golf with Kyle Cusimano. And my fourth favorite hobby is watching Game of Thrones with Brendan Graves.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Miss a BGSU sports broadcast? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to listen to past calls by Falcon Media Sports Network.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here live in the Coolin Center, Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, Nate Henners for your first period report. Before we send it back to Ben Korak for the second period, final thoughts after this first period. I mean, 1-1. Steinman is doing very well. He has 7 saves right now with one. I mean, he let 1 goal, but 7 saves with that crazy open. What was it, like glove catch from the Tommies. So what do you guys want to see more out of the Falcons, I guess, coming into this second period? Do you want to see more aggression or kind of just step off a little bit?
I mean, I think they're going to come out with a lot of aggression. I mean, we saw it yesterday. I mean, they came out of the second period and immediately scored right away. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of aggression open this second period up. I would say I would like to see Tyler Hodson get a little more involved. He's had 1 shot on goal, hasn't had any assists yet, so I would like to see Tyler Hodson get involved, Noah Monroe as well. Just guys like that to get sort of involved. Maybe Brett Foe, or maybe one of those guys could get involved.
Brett Foe?
Maybe not. I actually said Brett Foe. I meant
Brett Foe is out for the season.
I meant Quinn Emerson. I read that wrong. That was my apologies. But yeah, I would like to see one of those 3 get involved in the second period.
T's and P's to Brett Foe, by the way. I mean, he's.
I'm so used to seeing him on the ice.
Brett
It's
Foe,
weird that he's not anymore. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
T's and P's. Anyway, Nate, what are you expecting out of this second period?
Yeah, just a little bit what Artie was saying there, talking a little bit about yesterday's. I mean, we're starting to see a very similar play in that first period to what we had yesterday. And now going into this second period, we need to see the Falcons come out once again aggressive and just hopefully keep that going throughout this second period and kind of wear the Tommies down and keep their energy up and maybe see if they can try to get ahead a bit in this second period.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it a little bit. I do think Quinn Emerson kind of needs to get more involved. Quinn Emerson he's not a captain on the team, but he sure acts like one, as dominant of a player that he is. So Quinn Emerson getting more involved, I feel like, is key to the Falcons' success, as well as, like you said, a Hodson or a Higgins possibly getting more involved in the absence of Sternberg and, I guess, Foe. But yeah, we're going to step away here on WBGU 88.1. You're listening to WBGU 88.1. You're home for Falcon hockey.
This week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week is women's track and field mid-distance runner Rachel Hoover. The sophomore set BGSU school records in the mile, winning the event in 4 minutes and 40.35 seconds, beating 45 competitors, including runners from 5 Big Ten teams. She also won the 800-meter with 2 minutes and 12.64 seconds. Hoover was first-team indoor All-MAC and first-team outdoor All-MAC in 2025. Hoover cut down her mile time by 10 seconds from her previous PR just 12 days prior. She's taking a big leap in her race now compared to when she was a freshman, head coach Lou Snelling said. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
This wraps up your first intermission report brought to you by Rick Crow. Thanks for listening. Make sure to stay tuned in for our second intermission here on WBGU 88.1. Let's send it back out to Ben Korak at the Slater Family Ice Arena. Ben.
Thank you, Gavin. Myself, Vaughn Ullum, here from the Slater Family Ice Arena and the Falcon Media Sports Network. Vaughn, a first period that ended up at a tie. Power play goal for Alex Gaffney for St. Thomas, and then Ben Duran just a little bit later, about 3 minutes later, actually, and he tied it up at 1. We have a power play going for St. Thomas, but what did you see from that first period from both the Falcons and the Tommies that got us to this 1-1?
Yeah, I mean, specifically in that first period, you saw St. Thomas coming out and they were swinging hard. You have them come out and they're playing a lot more physical. They're coming out like they won the game yesterday. And just throwing around the Falcons. But the Falcons later on, they come through and they start playing physical. Of course, that's kind of how you got these sorts of penalties. Specifically, it's how you got the contact drawn on Trotter, the starting goaltender out there for the men in purple. So if you're BG, you really got to stay out of the penalty box, but you got to keep that physicality ramped up.
34 seconds of power play to start the second period for St. Thomas. Jeremy Minville in the box. He put like kind of a backup hit on Aaron Trotter. As here the Falcons turn the puck over in the offensive zone, shorthanded, and St. Thomas will come back up with the puck. But he backed into Trotter, whistled as an interference, and he went to the box after a little bit of a scrum between the two teams. Wallen down the right wing side, 15 seconds to go in the man advantage. Got the puck back out toward the blue line. Ryan O'Neill gets it cleared down after he lost it just a bit. Just 30 seconds expired in the second period. Emerson on the forecheck ties up Williams, and he'll get Minville out of the box. So Bowling Green's back up to 5-on-5, where they've been so good this weekend. They've had the only 5-on-5 goal of the weekend. The Falcons do, and that was in this game. Ben Duran from Brody Waters and Ivan Korodiak. Now breakaway left side. Steinman steps out of the net to try and make a poke save. He more so disrupts Ryan O'Neill that was going toward the cage, but he stopped the puck from going into the net, no matter how he did it. On the near side boards, St. Thomas puts it back down south of the goal line. Godbout to chase. He's got Casey Leyland with him, and now it's up by the Falcons to neutral ice. Bowling Green with it on the red line. Niedermeyer. He pokes it ahead, just long for the Falcon, off of Niedermeyer's skate. And now Ryman and the Falcon forwards ahead. It's Duran, Waters, and Ryman. Waters looks to turn the puck over. Cheslak will peel it off the boards on the side opposite Waters on a pass. And it'll come back to him, defensive zone play from St. Thomas. Bauer-Berry up. Simonovic will grab the puck behind the goal line. Icing whistled off on that stretch pass. St. Thomas likes to sneak behind opponent defenders, but they haven't done that too much today. Just once on a 2-on-0 breakaway against Steinman, and he was able to make maybe the best save of the weekend. Crampton, slap shot. Simonovic is deflected away by the high forward of Lucas Van Vliet. Out to neutral ice, Sturzer going for the puck, but it never arrived to him. The Falcons slap it into St. Thomas end and go for a change.
Yeah, the Tommies really struggling to get any sustained pressure going as this shot goes way up and into the netting. But yeah, St. Thomas coming into this one just really can't put the passes connecting, of course, as they're trying to clear it out and go on a breakout and transition. They also just can't seem to actually get some tape-to-tape passes. And so for right now, just to even get a face-off in the O-zone, it's a pretty big deal for the Tommies. It's all up to BG, however, to quickly clear it as they already have been doing throughout that first period and, of course, here in the opening minutes of this second.
They'll put their best line out. The captain, Lucas Wallen, at center, and Ryan O'Neill and Alex Gaffney, the wingers, out with him. The Falcons with a stack formation in front of Steinman to the left of the face-off man and nobody to the right on the short side to the boards. It's Jaden Grant that's in the dot for Bowling Green against Wallen. Face-off, one back to St. Thomas, but the Falcon forwards get in there quickly, take the puck into the offensive zone. Minville held in by Grant after he lost the puck. Now a stretch pass out deflected by McKinley, who is hit, and offsides is St. Thomas. McKinley could have drawn an interference there, got a bump from Gaffney away from the puck, but no call besides the offsides. They'll take the puck into neutral ice.
Yeah, and with these kinds of plays going offsides, I mean, that can also be a killer for St. Thomas early, especially when you're looking for more of these plays on the 5-on-5 that you just need to kind of work out into your O-zone. When you're going in just a bit too anxiously and just kind of disconnected in across the blue line, I mean, that's just kind of going to hurt your confidence moving forward. And we still got a lot of time here in this second period.
Niedermeyer rinks the puck around the rounded wall. He gets the puck away as Gaffney just put a big check on Grant in front of the St. Thomas bench. Long changes from their own zone for both of these teams now. The Falcons from the right side of your radio dial on the leftmost bench, and St. Thomas the opposite. Bowling Green will have to get on sides as the puck comes out to center. The Falcons will play it in, get a change, and allow St. Thomas to have possession. Outlet pass, cross ice from Cole Miller. He tries to stop the puck on the pass with his skate, but it goes right under his blade. St. Thomas battling a loose puck in front of their own bench. They'll get a quick change there. Defenseman Bauer-Berry on the ice. Miller fires it in, goes for another defenseman change. It's Cheslak out to play with Bauer-Berry. Cheslak, 22 assists with an assist today on Alex Gaffney's power play goal. 22 assists, no goals. It's been a while since the last goal for Chase Cheslak. In fact, it was January 26th of 2025. And there's a goal for the Falcons. Dom Ryman, he got it from the right side. And 2-1, Bowling Green leads.
Yeah, a great shot near side to start things off there. On the rebound chance was Ryman, but it was Ben Duran on the first opportunity near side at the faceoff dot. He tried to slide one through. He was looking for his second, but with that shot, just kind of losing track of it was Aaron Trotter, and Trotter just kind of unable to corral himself, and it ends up just sneaking on through.
The Falcons with 2 straight goals, both of them even strength. With the skates outside of the blue paint too, Dominic Ryman, a nice play to ensure that he was not either interfering with the goaltender or shooting from inside the blue paint. 16:20 to go in the second.
Yeah, the puck kind of got right on by Aaron Trotter, and it was Ryman to just kind of track it down behind his legs. He saw the black rubber right in front of him, and he said, heck, let me take a swing at that, and then boom, right across the goal line. And suddenly, in the blink of an eye, it's 2-1.
Trotter's beaten for the second time. He's made 9 saves with the 2 goals allowed. Jacob Steinman, 7 saves and the 1 goal allowed. The Falcons have kept the puck on the St. Thomas half of the ice most of the game today, and there they get rewarded for staying in the offensive zone. Hodson along with McKinley in the corner. Hodson takes a tumble down to the ice. The puck luckily out to neutral ice. Hundley couldn't hold it inside the blue line with the Falcon forward out of play. Here down the right wing comes Cage Sturzer. He's spun on a kind of a side check from Kurodiak. He skates away. The Falcons with the puck. Kurodiak up through center ice. He backhands it out to the right wing. With speed, moving in is Ben Duran. Fires it to the slot. Off of the stick of Nathan Pilling behind the goal line, up in the air. Pass to the slot. Zlinka, he feeds it in. It's defended by Nick Williams. Out to the blue line. Bowling Green holds it in. Back down. Zlinka bounces over his stick. Why Not has to take it off of the half wall. Quinn Emerson, Ben Duran, the 2 assists on Dominic Ryman's goal. Niedermeyer to the right side. Down to Higgins. He's behind the goal line. Higgins may be one of the best passers on the team. He and McKinley have come into their own offensively, and Higgins just in his rookie season.
Yeah, Higgins has been really doing well at keeping the puck in the O zone. He has kept consistent pressure on these Tommies in their defensive zone. And so as a result, I mean, Higgins has made so many secondary efforts to keep the puck in on his side of the blue line. And that is really, in part, some of this reason as to why BG has this lead. I mean, if you're not able to keep good sustained pressure on, I mean, what do you really have?
Bowling Green has a face-off down the right side of Aaron Trotter. They're continuing to stay in the offensive zone. Again, the Falcons, the only period where they trail and goals scored is the second period, and a good sign already that Bowling Green's got an early goal and a good start to this middle frame that they've struggled in this season. Bowling Green recovers the puck in their own zone. The pass out to center ice, intercepted by St. Thomas. The shot is shrugged aside by Steinman. A long rebound away to Cheslock at the blue line. His shot in with traffic in front goes off the side of the net. Back up Bauer-Berry. Blue paint, a block by Minville as the Falcons jump up and cheer on their freshman forward. Bowling Green with 17 blocks yesterday to St. Thomas's 12. The Falcons are the least blocking team in the CCHA, although that's mainly because they have the least shots allowed. Down the right wing, Quinn Emerson, he lost the puck. It's going to be a hooking against Bauer-Berry, it looks like. And Emerson will draw a penalty and send the Falcons to their first power play.
Yeah, this is going to be big for BG. Of course, when you're giving up all of these power play goals over to St. Thomas, if you can try to counter on your own, that's going to be a big, big deal. And so when you get the hooking, especially on the captain, obviously a harsh guy to lose always, as Wallen is going into the box for 2 this time. It's a great opportunity for BG to take the first multi-goal lead of the series.
Wallen for hooking, 2-1. The Falcons lead, 14-12 to go in the second period. How big of an opportunity is this one to try and get the power play goal and make it a 2-score game against the Tommies?
Yeah, this is exactly what you need. I mean, Ty Higgins, of course, out there as he's going to be, once again, really key at keeping the puck in the zone exactly where they need it. And, of course, St. Thomas has one already on the power play. If BG can put one on themselves and really counter with a good power play score of their own, that can really dishearten the number 15 team in the nation.
Ryman to the back of the net on a pass. Morneau loses the puck. Cole Miller to clear. And the puck into the Bowling Green bench, so the faceoff will come back into the O-zone. Unlucky break there for the Tommies.
Yeah, already just good O-zone time in for BG. They haven't really put any good shots on through the first 25 seconds of their man advantage. But the Falcons, as long as they can just keep the puck in, it has clearly kept Aaron Trotter off guard. Whether it's going to be a rebound chance or whether it's going to be a straight shot, if they're able to put some pucks on, I really think that Aaron Trotter might let one slip on by.
Dominic Ryman he had a goal 2 weeks ago against Bemidji State. Didn't score last week against Notre Dame. Has a goal today, even strength. He's kind of trying to get back to his offensive prowess that he had the first half of the year. Here's a slap shot, a big one from the right side. Niedermeyer toward the net, but he missed wide left. And now the Falcons will have to come back into their own zone, recover the puck with 13:20 to go in the second and 1:10 to go on the power play. Down the right wing, fed in, a rebound chance. Niedermeyer, and he fanned on the puck. He takes it back up to the blue line with his legs. Duran out with the pass to McKinley. Slap shot, Niedermeyer scores! The senior defenseman on the power play. Falcons lead 3-1.
Niedermeyer had plenty of opportunities throughout that one. He sent his first opportunity wide off to the right post. Then he sends fans on the next opportunity that comes his way on a secondary chance. But then when he gets his other opportunity, he'll send it in off the near side post, and it'll just sneak on through on the opposite side of the net. A great slap shot on the 1T. Number 12, Niedermeyer makes this a 2-goal game here at the Slate.
In for the draw again, center ice. Back-to-back goals for the Falcons. Dominic Ryman and Jackson Niedermeyer here in the second period. That's Niedermeyer's 3rd goal of the season. That passes a season total last year of 2, which he had as a forward. He's got more goals in 2026 as a defenseman. Falcons turn the puck over. They've got it back in the offensive zone. Minville goes to the side of the net. Some Falcons still on their feet after that goal scored by Niedermeyer. Slap shot on the power play. Down the right wing, McKinley lifts it up. The Falcons break the other way with some speed. Max Martin fakes the drop pass, now goes, sneaks by the defender. Working in, Max Martin tries to poke it through the legs of Trotter. No gesture from the referee. Trotter takes a tumble in his crease and in his net. He's still down. Minville is as well.
Yeah, BG thought they got a goal that time. The play was blown dead. I'm not sure they're going to get anything in now, especially as the rubber fully out of the crease. I mean, just a physical play that time. Max Martin going down the right wing. Had a great opportunity to send it in 5-hole, but a good butterfly save out of Trotter. No secondary chances given up from him either.
A big try for Bowling Green. We see the replay here. Max Martin behind the goal line. He tried to find that 5-hole of Trotter. And then Trotter just gets bumped pretty heavy by Minville there. He saved it on the left post. Just gameplay, nothing can come really of that. As a loose puck, you got to go for it if you're Minville, and it's what he does so well. He's not afraid to go anywhere on the ice.
And for St. Thomas, just not even a grand save, but still just doing the little things right now is Aaron Trotter. And now as they move in transition and get a shot on Steinman, I mean, this is exactly what St. Thomas needs on their own side. Of course, they're the road team. The other team has all of the momentum right now, just almost midway through this game as a whole. And so if you're St. Thomas, you need to understand that you are still a very, very skilled team, and you just need to right now just do the little things right, put some shots on net, and see what you can do throughout the remainder of this middle frame.
And for the draw, Nathan Pilling against Noah Morneau. Pilling, a newcomer to St. Thomas, the freshman, 27 points scored this season. Morneau, the Falcons' leader in goals. He got that mark yesterday, his 4-on-4 goal in the middle frame. And he's up to 9, the Falcon leader in goals scored. To Niedermeyer, left side. His goal a minute ago made it 3-1. Good pass to the right side. Morneau, the shot save made. Trotter, a low shot that hugged the ice, and he's able to make the blocker save. Held inside the blue line. Falcons with speed. Emerson down to the goal line. Morneau working behind the net. Emerson to clean it up. Hundley got his stick on it. Now Emerson behind the goal line again, defended by 2 defensemen for St. Thomas. Bowling Green buzzing in the offensive zone. Here's Crampton down into the corner. Ryman spins it back up. Crampton fakes a slap shot, defended by Van Vliet up high at the blue line. Shot in, drop down Sloan. Backdoor chance. Fell right over the stick of Adams Linka ranging in. Puck back down into BG end with Falcon possession. Crampton accepts the contact. Van Vliet gives it up. Slot taken away by Bowling Green. Got a couple of guys ahead. Down the left wings, Linka. Good pass, right side. Why not? His shot saved by Trotter on a rebound. He shot it off the side of the net. Got a rebound, and Trotter shut it down. 11 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the second. 3-1, Bowling Green leads. Linka puts a check on. The Falcons with a newfound energy. They hold it in the O zone, and then it's cleared away by the purple. Left side, Jack Blake rinks it around. Why not in to turn the puck over? It's out to neutral ice. Why not again? Forces it ahead on the backhand. Cole Miller will get there first, the defenseman for St. Thomas. Ben Duran battling, so is Waters. Lepai tips it ahead. Held inside the blue line. Pass right to the slot. Duran, backhand, rebound chance. Trotter was out of the crease, but he didn't have to make the save. Puck down into the Falcon end on a clear. St. Thomas will be whistled off for an icing. Trotter maybe with a couple of breaks, maybe a couple of nice plays, but the puck stays out.
Yeah, and you can, I assume, hear it here from the natural sound out here. You're going to hear a lot of hands clapping on together. I mean, these are some great saves by St. Thomas's Trotter, but BG really keeping the pressure in, and it's been great work. And right now you have Niedermeyer and Higgins out there as your defensive line. These are two guys that are really going to be able to keep puck possession and keep the pressure in along their side of the blue line. We'll see if they can actually make something happen.
Miller takes Hodson down to the ice. The Falcons still with the puck, though. Niedermeyer between the legs of Duran. Miscommunication. He thought he had Higgins. Higgins will slap at the puck. It's up into the netting, and a loose puck will result in a face-off for the Falcons and the Tommies.
If St. Thomas is able to not allow a goal to come in on this kind of exchange over these last few minutes, it's all been Bowling Green. Of course, he had that goal coming in for Niedermeyer, and now you just have absolute control in the O-zone. If you're St. Thomas right now, if you're able to free it out and honestly get O-zone time of your own, that would be a big deal. Here, a face-off going to be invalid, but for Bowling Green, if you're able to sneak one through, that'll really just be a killer for St. Thomas, and I don't know how they're going to be able to mentally get back into this thing.
Falcons have scored 3 goals in regulation for the first time since February 7th, the Friday game in the second series between Bowling Green and St. Thomas last season. That was a 4-1 victory for Bowling Green. They haven't done so in 3 games so far this year, and are able to do so today. Martin skates it ahead inside the blue line, tries to gain the entry. Godbout takes a tumble. The puck comes back to him as he gets back on his feet. Now the entry from Nick Williams, the overtime winner yesterday for Nick Williams. Leading goal scorer for defenseman, 6 with the overtime winner yesterday, his first game winner as a Tommy. Down the left wing, poked out, Giuliani with the puck there, and he gets bumped by both Max Martin and Jeremy Minville. To the left side, Godbout slaps it in. Steinman to stop it behind the net, but it goes under his stick. There's a wrist shot, Ryan O'Neill from the right side, and saved on the left post by Steinman. A penalty upcoming. It's going to be Hayes Hundley, the freshman, as he put a check on Max Martin.
Yeah, over there on the far side point of the St. Thomas attacking zone, the BG defensive zone. Just kind of got him a little bit too up high. It was Martin trying to make a play happen, keep it in, try to clear it away, and then it was just too much contact up high, and yeah, Hundley's going to get called on that every single time. That's exactly what the referees need to look out for.
Hundley will sit there for our media timeout as well. Brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creators of the Ale Ziggy Zumba, a light ale made in collaboration of BG Athletics. Buy it here in the Madhouse on Mercer or 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green. For the latest menus and Juniper Brewing Company details, go to juniperbrew.com. 3-1, the Falcons lead St. Thomas here in the slate. Middle frame, you're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Gus Peacock from the Bowling Green men's soccer team, and this is my Falcon 4 favorite Halloween costumes. My first one is going to be Bigfoot because I think it's really funny and he looks super big. My next one is going to be one of the founding fathers, Ben Frank. I'm going to do that this year. I think it's really funny. Another one, my favorite costumes would be Art the Clown because he's super scary and I've watched all the Terrifier movies. And the last one would be Buddy the Elf, because I love that costume and I love that movie so much.
BGSU women's basketball takes the court at the Stroh Center to face Buffalo on Tuesday, February 10th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Adam Duffin and Dawson Pelcher will have the call of the matchup, with Nate Hanners, Noah Seeley, Kevin Hutchinson, and Jay Kopass providing the pregame, halftime, and postgame shows beginning at 6:35 p.m. Make sure to listen to it all on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home of BG women's basketball.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Jackson Niedermeyer, a power play goal at the 6:53 mark. We're back on the power play. The Falcons are. A penalty to Hayes Hundley for a hit against Max Martin on the opponent blue line. If you're Hayes Hundley, a bad penalty to take. The Falcons with a 2-goal lead, and they can make it 3 with a goal here. Down the right wing, Waters feeds it in. Bad bounce off of the boards, comes right to St. Thomas. Cole Miller, the clearing attempt. He intends to pass it to Pullman. The clearing try is blocked. The whistle blows, and Hodson's bucket came off.
Right now, Bowling Green just needs to put something together. They need to keep the consistent ozone time that they've been having over, it feels like, these last several minutes. BG has remained consistent in their puck possession, and right now that's exactly what they need to keep doing. You can't let any easy clears happen here for St. Thomas. St. Thomas doesn't want to get or you don't want St. Thomas to get any sort of energy out of a penalty kill. So if you're honestly able to just put together a solid 2 minutes, that's going to treat you right.
Barry, face-off win from St. Thomas. They knock it down. St. Thomas has done better today in the face-off circles, 21-17, where they trailed pretty starkly to Bowling Green yesterday. Drop pass from Higgins. Bowling Green tag teams through central ice, and now Alex Gaffney skates it ahead shorthanded. Leader in the CCHA in shorthanded goals is St. Thomas out of the 9 teams. They have 10. The next closest is Lake Superior State with 4. So they have a huge lead there, and that's a great reminder for the offense of St. Thomas and how threatening they are. Morneau to the right side, the defenseman Higgins playing on the right wing in the formation on the power play for Bowling Green. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Quinn Emerson behind the goal line, clearing attempt from Miller, and he gets it away. Long change for St. Thomas, a short change for the Falcons, but they got to come all the way back into their own zone to grab the puck. They get it off of Steinman's stick. Now ahead, Niedermeyer. Out to Hodson, loses the puck, cleared back down. Bad entry for Bowling Green. 25 seconds to go on the power play, a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and exactly, you put it exactly as it should have been. It's just bad entries, and that's exactly what they cannot have, as right now they're even struggling to get it through the neutral zone. You just got to put together now a clean last couple of seconds here on the power play and just keep that sustained pressure in at your own blue line. Maybe don't even pull the trigger as much, just get that consistent pressure, but now we get to rush the other way.
Right wing as Hundley comes out of the box. Van Vliet makes a man miss. His pass out to Hundley, who's late to get into the offensive zone. He goes right to the O-zone, doesn't go off to the bench. He's had enough time to rest his legs, the defenseman out on the ice. Now he takes a step off. Cole Miller the shot in. Save made. Steinman cleared to the half wall on the far side by the Falcons. Van Vliet back behind the goal line. He gets it back out to the blue line as it was Lucas Wallen who was guarding it, and he streaked in toward the net, and the pass came to where he was, not where he is. Here's Nick Williams. Out to the left wing, neutral ice. Luke Leyland. We get a whistle, a stoppage by the linesman. And saw the referee using his hand counting the number of players on the ice. Are we going to get a bench minor?
Looks like it's going to be on BG here. Tough one.
They didn't score on the power play, and now they'll go on to a penalty kill. 6:37 to go in the second. Adams Linka will go to the box, serving the bench minor. And Bowling Green will go on their third penalty kill of the game. They've allowed 1 goal on 2 other kills.
You just can't have that, especially at this point in the game where you specifically are giving up too many power play goals throughout the series. You got to remain disciplined as a team, and of course where you're just not feeling it and you're just not getting the connection there on the bench, I mean, that's just really going to hurt you here on a very, very rare penalty in the form of too many men on the ice.
And for the draw, St. Thomas loses it to the Falcons. Karodiak to clear. It's held in by Cheslock, who puts it into the netting from the blue line. So we'll have another dropped puck with only 5 seconds expired on the power play. 6:30 to go in the second period. We got to get some new rubber. And for the centerman, Van Vliet, Casey Leyland, and Cage Sturzer. Back at the blue line, Alex Gaffney and Chase Cheslock. So no Lucas Wallen, Ryan O'Neill, or Nathan Pilling, at least right now on this power play. And Pilling has 2 power play goals out of 3 scored by St. Thomas this weekend. They're 3 for 6 on man advantages. At the dot, the Falcons lose the draw back to St. Thomas. Gaffney gives it up. Fake slap shot by Cheslock at the middle point. He gets it out to the right wing, Gaffney. Gaffney outside the right faceoff circle. His shot in. Save made by Steinman with Cage Sturzer in front. No Falcon clearing him out. Held inside the blue line by Van Vliet. Into the corner, Sturzer. He plays it on the rounded half wall. Out to Van Vliet at the blue line. He looks for a shot in. Shut off by Max Martin. He was encroaching in on Van Vliet, the puck is forced away. Shot goes high and wide. and it's rinked and iced down itself. Cheslock stops it behind his own net. Man advantage for St. Thomas for the next minute 5. Van Vliet through his own blue line, crossed the red line, now into the offensive zone. Out to the left wing side, an entry for St. Thomas. Cage Sturzer around the bend in the wall again, behind the goal line. Poked away by Steinman as it was cleared into the slot. The defensemen were both south of the goal line, so a nice play by the freshman goaltender. Back up at the blue line, Cheslock to Van Vliet. Van Vliet the shot, and he missed wide right. Missed by about 5 feet, did the freshman. Pass to the slot. Casey Leyland, the one-timer. Directed towards Steinman, but right into his chest, and he saved it long, rebounded in the corner. 5 minutes to go in the second, 25 left on the power play. Right wing side, Gaffney looking in. His shot, save made. Steinman cleared away and outside of the blue line. Van Vliet a blunder. He had a chance to keep the pressure on, but he couldn't hold it in the O-zone. St. Thomas will circle back into their own end. 5 seconds before Zlinka comes out of the box. The too many men on the ice penalty will not result in a goal for St. Thomas. They're 1 for 3 on power plays today. Falcons with it up the right wing. Comes Brandon Wynot. He's got speed down the right wing. Drop pass back. Grant working in. His shot missed wide right. Big try for the Falcons coming right off of the penalty kill. O'Neal out to the right wing. Hundley, he's spun down. His pass across the slot doesn't land. Williams another shot in, and Steinman lets it go into the corner. Back up to neutral ice. Zlinka, his drop pass to McKinley. Back to Zlinka, pushes it ahead on sides. The Falcons will go for a change. 4 minutes to go in the second.
Great chance there for BG to just regain some momentum. Of course, you've already got almost all of it as we speak, but after the penalty kill, this is where you just really feel where BG has a well-rounded game right now. Of course, you got moving forward a big penalty kill in which you haven't had a whole lot of throughout this series, and now just getting that on-the-man disadvantage is just going to help you out in the long run. There's still plenty of time for St. Thomas to crawl back into this one, and that's just really going to hurt their chances moving forward, just in the mental aspect of things.
Trotter stops the puck behind his net. A shot try for Waters. He missed a shot. And now the puck into the near side boards where Wynot and Wallen will battle. Lepai will chase the puck. Bowling Green flings it into the corner. One-man forecheck. Ben Duran lightly to make sure his guys get a change. And a whistle blown. Don't know what the call was there, but they're putting the face-off in the Bowling Green end.
I guess it was Ben Duran delayed offsides. He was pressuring for, I guess, too long. You could see the referee signal over to the other side of the ice, and Duran hopped off. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, not even a bad idea, as he wanted the change, and so did plenty of his teammates. I mean, that's just an opportunity to get one of those. And so we'll see if BG is actually able to put something together now with some new fresh legs.
1-0 for the face-off. The Falcons win it. Try to catch Quinn Emerson on pretty much a go route into the O-zone, but it was defended by 2 defensemen. That was Hundley and Nick Williams back. They're a pretty good combination. Williams, the junior transfer from Michigan Tech. Hundley, the freshman. We're going to get a penalty upcoming.
That was as obvious as you can see. Lucas Van Vliet, 100%, got the stick entangled with the Falcons' legs. And, yeah, there was no hesitation. Everyone in the arena knew it. Referee staring it right down. He raises his arms as Ryman went down.
It's a mistake that you see freshmen make quite a bit, playing with their stick in their hands and not their feet, and that's what Van Vliet did right there. The Falcons will go onto their 3rd power play. They're 1 for 2 on their other 2 tries. Power play goal by Jackson Niedermeyer, the defenseman, a slap shot from the blue line. That was on the first power play of the game, and no goal on the second power play for the Falcons. They lead 3-1. Waning goings of the second period. Now a 2-on-1 breakaway. Lucas Wallen up the right wing. The pass just behind him, so he won't get a shot on goal off. And the Falcons with possession now. A couple of seconds wasted, about 20 of them. Now Bowling Green into the neutral zone. McKinley back to the right wing side. It's Tyler Hodson, the RPI transfer. One of 2 transfers on the Falcon roster. Rihard Simonovic, a transfer from Miami of Ohio, and RPI is where Tyler Hodson came from, a 23-point scorer with Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Right wing corner, Hodson back up, blue line, McKinley plays it. McKinley, Duran, and Niedermeyer combining for the last goal. Here's Niedermeyer, his shot blocked by Bauer-Berry. Into the corner, the defenseman with a shin block. 1:05 to go in the power play. Up, open ice for McKinley, blue line on the right side corner. Duran on the near side now, back to the middle, McKinley. He looks in, shot with traffic in front, directed away by Trotter off of his stick and pad. McKinley a slap shot. Stepping out of the crease, Trotter makes another save. Duran into the corner, Hodson and Waters get tangled up there for a second. Hodson with the puck, gives it up. One-timer, Niedermeyer, but skating it away is Pilling. He fires it in towards Steinman, who keeps it in play. 30 seconds to go on the man advantage, 3-1 Falcons lead.
Yeah, big difference between this power play and the last year for BG. In that last power play, they were really struggling in on entry. They were really struggling in a lot of different regards, but now the passes are looking a lot cleaner, and they're actually able to put some solid shots on against Trotter. Even though he's making the saves, this is just a little bit more of an oomph going into this final couple of seconds of this second period.
Crampton lost his stick and lost the puck. Because of that, St. Thomas was able to ice it. 5 seconds to go on the power play before Van Vliet comes out of the box. Falcon defensemen have to look back. Van Vliet an offensive threat, and he's going to be guarded now by Crampton as he back skates away from the O-zone. Bowling Green up to the blue line. Higgins fakes a slap shot. Shooting lane, feeds it in, blocked by both Godbout, and then a stick block by Nick Williams. Bowling Green, another entry, turned over. Williams, after Morneau was decked. Down the right wing comes Nick Williams. Good pass out, Wallen, shot, save made, Steinman. Into the corner off of the rebound. Giuliani the shot, blocked by Bowling Green. A lot of meat in front there. And Bowling Green squanders that opportunity again. Minville, goal line, shot, save made by Trotter. He didn't even move for that backhand try from Minville. St. Thomas in their own end. Time expiring in the second period. We're going to skate into the intermission report with a 3-1 Bowling Green lead over St. Thomas. 2 goals in the second for Bowling Green. Dominic Ryman, even strength, and Jackson Niedermeyer on the power play. Gavin, Artie, and Nate back in the Cooling Center studios for the Marta Crow second intermission report. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Hi, I'm Taylor Dyson from BGSU Men's Soccer, and these are my Falcon 4 teammates that I would like to have in the Hunger Games. The first one would be Brennan Graves, because he's pretty much built like a bear. He's a big guy. The second I would like Josh Erlinson, just because he knows all that wilderness stuff. He's good in the woods. The third one I'd have Trace Terra, just because he's a tall guy and he can reach a lot of stuff that I can't. And the fourth guy would be Mads Christiansen, because if we ever got in trouble, he would be the first person we sacrifice. Thank you.
BGSU Gymnastics returns to the Stroh Center to face Wilberforce and Fisk on Sunday, February 8th at 2 p.m. Check out bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the contest by Falcon Media Sports Network's Carter Leonard with photos and video on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
Back here in the Cooling Center, Gavin Gill, Artie Abrego, Nate Hinners for your second intermission, brought to you by... Second intermission report is brought to you in memory of Marta Crow, Falcon fanatic and avid Falcon hockey WBGU 88.1 listener. 3-1 currently against the Tommies, as both Niedermeyer and
Dominic Ryman.
Yes, they both got goals in this period. Artie was right, hit the nail right on the head. That's not how you say it. Falcons came out aggressive, scoring both those goals within 7 minutes. So very aggressive second period from the Falcons, taking that 3-1 lead. Things that you guys liked and maybe disliked from this second period.
Well, I love the aggressiveness. Like, that's what I mentioned earlier in that first intermission report. I just wanted to see them caught aggressive once again, like they did yesterday on Friday night against St. Thomas. And boy, they did. I mean, the first off, Dominic Ryman on an even strength goal, and then once again on the power play, Jackson Niedermeyer with another goal. So they added 2 goals this period, another up 3-1. That's what I love to see in the Falcons. I love aggressive hockey. They just went right after the net. They attacked it ferociously, and They got a 2-goal lead heading into the third period.
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Bowling Green's Steinman has had currently 14 saves. So the Tommies are also trying to get shots on goal right now. So they're not backing down without a fight. They currently have 33 shots to Bowling Green's 40. So, I mean, it's very, very aggressive for both teams. But the Tommies can't get the puck in the net, which Steinman's standing on. I mean, I wouldn't say he's standing on his head quite yet, but he's getting there. Good play by Willie for putting Steinman in.
I mean, yeah, he's having a really solid performance. I mean, 14 saves. He let that one go early in the first period and hasn't let one go through since. I mean, just a really solid, gritty performance from him. It's definitely tough when you're going up against attack like St. Thomas has, but he's really held strong in that net. I mean, it's definitely going to get a lot tougher because, when you get into that third period when teams are down, they start to enter that sort of desperation phase where you're trying to just fight your way to the net, trying to just get them out of position. So it's definitely going to get a lot tougher in that third period, but he's held strong so far.
And Steinman does this thing. I've watched him in the slate before. Every single time he lets up a goal, he puts all of it on himself, and you can see him try to pump himself back up in the net, and he's I mean, obviously you're the goalie. You're going to blame yourself for letting a goal get in. But he takes that stuff personally. So with him not letting up another goal on 33 shots tonight from the Tommies, very impressive from Steinman, and we want to keep that. We want to keep that going for the rest of the game.
I mean, that's the mentality you love out of a goalie. I mean, I mean, obviously it isn't always going to be his fault if he lets one by, but I mean, you just want him to have that intensity to say, hey, I let one through. I'm not going to let that happen again, especially when you're going up against the number one team in the conference.
And kind of comparing that to a bit of last night's game, of course, we were at 2-2 last night at this time, but now, Falcons able to get that 2 points in on the Tommy side and able to block on the their side. So something that they were able to work on a bit and learn from last night, and just able to get that lead further ahead at the end of the second period.
Yeah. We're going to step aside. We're going to do around CCHA games, one finale and one live game. You're listening to WBGU 88.1.
Hi, I'm Lauren Hovey on the BGSU volleyball team, and these are my Falcon 4 off-day activities. My first one would be spend time with family and friends if they're in town, because I love them. My second one would be read my book, because it's relaxing. My third one would be go get coffee, because who doesn't love coffee? And my fourth one would be go get groceries so I can make food for the week.
Falcon Media Sports Network now has a pregame, halftime, and postgame show for every BGSU men's and women's basketball broadcast, starting 25 minutes before each game. Make sure to tune in to hear insights and knowledge from Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. You can listen to every broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM or Falcon Radio, also streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
BG Women's Golf escapes the cold to compete in the BGSU Women's Intercollegiate in Litchfield Park, Arizona on Tuesday, February 10th and Wednesday, February 11th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Dan Ridenauer will have the recap of all the results and action on bgfalconmedia.com.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Back in the Coolin Center, Gavin Gill, Artie Rayo, Nate Hinners, for your second intermission report, brought to you by Marta Crow. We're going to do around CCHA. Current game happening right now is Ferris State versus Bemidji State. That they're in their second period right now. Current score is 1-1. Michigan Tech defeated Augustana 4-3. So high scoring game from that one. We're kind of looking for that in this Bowling Green St. Thomas game as well. I mean, not necessarily from St. Thomas, but you know what I mean. But if you kind of look at the CCHA, there are a lot of ranked teams right now currently. I mean, just off just looking at this, St. Thomas did lose today, so they're probably going to drop a few. But St. Thomas, before that game today, was 12th. You have Augustana at 16th, Michigan Tech at 19th, and then right on the outside, according to NCAA.com rankings for ice hockey, Bowling Green is sitting in the 24th spot, which you kind of would expect if Bowling Green can pull out this win against St. Thomas, which, according to this, they are 12th. Bowling Green might get ranked after today, which would be pretty cool.
That'd be major.
That'd be really cool for Bowling Green as a university, I feel like.
I mean, they're right on the cusp. I mean, they have 11 conference wins. This would be their 12th if they were to exit today with a win. So that would be pretty major for them, especially heading into this later slate of the season, come out of this series with a win against the top team in the CCHA.
And as we kind of talked about several times, they have been able to put up a fight against higher-ranked teams. And, if they can possibly get out a win tonight and get ranked higher, I think that would be very deserving of a lot of their play this season.
Yeah, I mean, even though Ohio State and Notre Dame aren't, performing to their conference, I mean, they're still Big Ten teams. They have a right to be in that conference, and they put up a fight against Ohio State, taking a tie in one and winning in the other, as well as Notre Dame tying in both of those games. So Bowling Green I feel like they're here for a long haul with Coach Dennis Williams. If you look ahead in Bowling Green's schedule, they have Augustana coming up in that series that will be in Sioux Falls. Ben Korak and I think Lucas Kleinmeyer will be heading up there for the coverage of that game. And then they have Minnesota State, and then they have Michigan Tech, who just beat Augustana tonight. So, yeah, we'll be right back here on WBGU 88.1 for our final thoughts on this the second intermission report brought to you by Marta Crow before we send it back to Ben and Vaughn in the slate.
Miss a BGSU sports broadcast? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to listen to past calls by Falcon Media Sports Network.
This is BGSU volleyball coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
Hello, Falcons. I'm Dontrez Brown. I play defensive line here, and my Falcon 4 favorite TV shows is SpongeBob, Regular Show, Adventure Time, and iCarly. I like SpongeBob because, just growing up, just seeing it on TV, it just made me laugh, and it still makes me laugh today. Adventure Time and Regular Show is kind of a mix. They just always have me laughing. And then iCarly, Sam Puckett is super funny, so. Go Falcons.
My name is Kyle Blassingame from BGSU Men's Soccer, and my Falcon 4 favorite hobbies are Kirby, which is a game created by BG Men's Soccer. My second favorite hobby would be Salute IIO. I recently bought a PC and I've been gaming it. My third favorite hobby is playing golf with Kyle Cusimano. And my fourth favorite hobby is watching Game of Thrones with Brendan Graves.
Since the day I stopped drinking, my life has gotten better and better. I can't take any credit for it. It just seems that without alcohol, I think better, I'm more careful with money, I watch what I say, I don't get into trouble like I did when I was drinking. It's scary trying to walk through life alone, and today I have that very distinct feeling that I don't ever have to be alone again.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Before I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought all the people that I knew who didn't drink were self-righteous people, holier than thou. So it never occurred to me that Alcoholics Anonymous was filled with people who had drank like I did, and now were the same people that I used to drink with, the same people that I liked, only now they weren't drinking. They were people just like me who had been drinking for a long time and found out that it didn't work for them anymore.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
As we are just minutes away to send it back out to Ben and Vaughn, we're going to do around Falcon Media Sports Network. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for any recaps, sidebars, any written stories, as well as photos, videos, and highlight packages that you can find at BG Falcon Media's YouTube channel as well. So make sure to head over to that for all sports. Falcon Media Sports Network covers pretty much any sport happening on campus. And even off campus, we'll send some of our color and play-by-plays off campus for some games. Anyway, Nate, you have some around Falcon Media Sports Network that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock from 4 to 6 here on WBGU 88.1 FM. We got some Zig Zone. The Zig Zone is back. It's our weekly Falcon Media Sports Network talk show. I don't know who Holden has on this week, but I'm sure he has some exciting guests.
Yeah.
And that'll be tomorrow, 4 to 6, right here on WBGU 88.1 FM. And then the Swoop also returning this week. In case you don't know what the Swoop is, it is our Falcon Media sports talk show. It is like a TV-style kind of talk show. But that returns, I believe it is posted on Thursday, I want to say, to our BG24 YouTube channel, as well as we'll be on bgfalconmedia.com as well. Nick Windholtz, who is usually our videographer, he is now the executive producer of it, so he's got a lot of great stuff planned for it. And Artie, you are one of the new hosts on it.
I am. I'm one of 3 rotating hosts on the Swoop this semester, along with Adam Duffin and Holden Ruck. We'll be sharing the main seat in the host role for rotating every week for the show. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Excited to see what Nick Windholtz has got cooking in the lab for that first show of the semester.
And I should mention, too, coming up on this week, we have some big Falcon Media, sports-related news. It's been a story we've been covering for a few months now, and that's those football players who were arrested back in November for assault over at Ziggy's, and they are in court, I believe, Monday and Friday, so me and Tyler Kavalitz will be in court. We'll have video coverage of it, as well as articles on bgfalconmedia.com. We'll also have coverage of it on the Swoop this week, so they are back, and they may be taking plea deals, I believe, to them. That looks like what could be happening. A change of plea is scheduled in the docket. But we will see, and we will have coverage of that, again, on bgfalconmedia.com, as well as the Swoop as well. So, yeah, kind of a big story, a story that a lot of people have been interested in since it happened, and we'll see how it goes this week.
Yeah, make sure to tune into, or like Nate said, make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for that coverage or for any coverage, as well as the big story that Falcon Media put together this semester or last semester. We're just about 30 seconds away from sending it back to Ben Korak in the slate. You're listening to WBGU 88.1.
BGSU women's basketball takes the court at the Stroh Center to face Buffalo on Tuesday, February 10th at 7 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Adam Duffin and Dawson Pelter will have the call of the matchup, with Nate Hanners, Noah Seeley, Kevin Hutchinson, and Jay Kopass providing the pregame, halftime, and postgame shows beginning at 6:35 p.m. Make sure to listen to it all on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home of BG women's basketball.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, gearing up for the third period of action between Bowling Green and St. Thomas. The second period, maybe the best second period we've seen this season from the Falcons. 2 goals scored, none given up. They lead 3-1, Vaughn, and that's a key one for the Falcons to get that 2-goal lead, but they still don't want to take their foot off the gas now against this St. Thomas team.
Yeah, not at all, and this is a team in which you really can't afford to ever take your foot off the gas against. I mean, Bowling Green as a team putting up 2 goals, as you mentioned, in that second period, and keeping the power play consistent as well, but BG also, besides that power play, had a chance to kill off a penalty, and that was huge as well to actually limit St. Thomas, who has been very, very successful on the power play in this series.
Puck up at neutral ice and stoked back into the St. Thomas end. Aaron Trotter has been pretty solid, but he's been beaten 3 times by Ben Duran, Dominic Ryman, and Jackson Niedermeyer. Ben Duran with 3 points today, a goal and his 2 assists. He's got 4 goals, 4 assists, and 8 points, and 9 career games played before this weekend against St. Thomas, so he's really killing the Tommies in his career, and he's doing so again today. Back up at the blue line, Higgins fired it in. It was kind of blocked, goes off the side of the net, and is carried into the corner by the Tommies. Hayes Hundley behind the net. He lifts it out off of a stick, and it goes into the crowd. Just narrowly misses a pretty young fan. Had a couple of hot pucks coming out of play yesterday, and it'll come back down to the St. Thomas end for a face-off.
And this is going to be big for BG, just getting a shift to, as you mentioned, to keep the foot on the gas. Right now, if you can honestly get the face-off win here, keep consistent pressure in on the O-zone, that's just really going to help you out in the long run, especially because St. Thomas really off their game in this game. And if they can't really clear it out of their zone easily, like what is that going to mean when you're down 2 here in the third period?
McKinley with a shot saved by Trotter, and Sturzer takes it up the left wing side. Cage Sturzer, the senior left winger, he gets the puck taken away from him in the corner. Korodiak gets hit up high. The Falcons wanted a call, but none coming, as that looked to me at least like a clean hit. Not to the head of Korodiak, but still up high and knocked him down to the ice.
Yeah, it was a little high up on the chest, perhaps. And, I mean, of course, yeah, your home crowd is going to want a penalty no matter what. But, yeah, you're completely right. That was a clean hit.
Into the corner. Back is Mason Pullman to come up with the puck. 1 goal and 5 points this season for Mason Pullman in his junior year. An East Grand Forks, Minnesota native is Pullman in his 3rd season with the Tommies. Up to center ice. Stopped behind the net. After it comes down off the stick of the Falcon, Trotter was able to stop it. Thomas with an outlet pass again, and it is going to be whistled off as another icing. They're really trying to stretch the ice now as they're desperate for a goal. They need to make up 2 goals of room and hopefully force overtime, if not more. 18 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah, if you're St. Thomas, you can't really get anything in transition to work your way. So honestly, just trying these Hail Mary shots down the ice just might exactly be what they really only can do, as there's still plenty of time to honestly make something happen, but they're already feeling a little desperate.
St. Thomas, and especially Rico Blasi teams, head coach Rico Blasi of St. Thomas, like to stretch the ice quite a bit. That was a plague of the Falcons last year, especially in the regular season, was St. Thomas being able to sneak behind Falcon defenders. And once they caught on, St. Thomas's offense dried up a little bit. Again, the Falcons and Tommies met up in the semifinal last year as this puck in toward Steinman on a bounce, and he's able to cover it up. Last year, that semifinal matchup, a 3-1 victory for St. Thomas at the last game in the St. Thomas Ice Arena. That's pretty much a high school rink, only one-sided stands in that rink in St. Paul, and now the brand new rink as well. But that last game played between Bowling Green and St. Thomas with the edge. Went on to lose to Minnesota State in the Mason Cup final. The Mavericks went on to have a pretty tight match with Western Michigan, representing the CCHA in the NCAA tournament. Back into the Bowling Green end, it's going to be another face-off. 3-1, the Falcons lead, 17:30 to go in the third period. It's going to be such a tall task for St. Thomas Vaughn to really get some momentum going, considering the Falcons have the lead. They seem to have the energy, and they've pretty much been more physical all weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. And St. Thomas started off this one being very physical, but then it was BG to immediately take that away, and they started laying on some more hits, and you can see some right there, contact on the near side boards. But also for St. Thomas, I mean, we just got a shot on net on Steinman just a couple moments ago from Barry, but still at the end of the day, the shots just aren't seeming too quality, and so we'll see if they're actually able to get any sort of sustained pressure, because they consistently are not getting any consistent pressure.
Cheslock tries to find an open purple jersey. Korodiak slams into the boards to try and keep the puck in the blue line, and he is able to do it. Puck lifted off the glass into the St. Thomas bench from the St. Thomas end, and we're going to have a face-off next to Aaron Trotter again. 19 shots on goal for the Falcons, 3 saves. That's 16 saves for Trotter on the 3 goals allowed. And Jacob Steinman with 15 saves and 1 goal allowed. He's played fantastic today, and especially on a couple of big breakaways for St. Thomas that he's able to shut down.
Honestly, it really doesn't feel like the shot on goal counter is that close, does it? Because specifically for St. Thomas right now, their shots just have, as mentioned before, just have not been as high quality as BG has put on Trotter. So as a whole, yes, they have these shots on goal, but they've really just been, at least, of course it's easy for me to say, just more simpler saves for Steinman.
Waters holds the puck on the far side boards. He's got it down to the goal line as well. Duran was trying to backskate into the slot. The pass was just a bit early of Duran's move toward that shooting lane. Wallen, the pass ahead with Ryan O'Neill. Back, high slot. Nick Williams looking for his second of the weekend. He sent it high over the head of Steinman. Karodiak shrugs off O'Neill with one hand and then gets open ice for Niedermeyer behind the net. Gaffney on the forecheck. Niedermeyer takes it up the right side around Jacob Steinman. Steinman and Cole Moore trading time as we have since the start of 2026. They've kind of been the Friday man and Cole Moore and the Saturday man and Jacob Steinman. And still the jury's out on whether or not that's going to change as the season progresses. Normally teams will shorten down to one goalie, but they've played so well in tandem. Why change it right now?
Yeah, and I mean, you see that anywhere. You see that in the pros. You'll see that here. Just sometimes, if you like something that works, and it's going to build more diversity in your roster, sure. And maybe that's a little nerve-wracking if you are the coaches. But still, if you find something that works, like this 1-2 punch of goaltenders, why not stick with it? If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
St. Thomas tried to get away with it. A couple of guys changing off of an icing, but they got the right guys back on the ice. The referees did. And now we'll draw puck back in the zone of Trotter. Slow skaters for St. Thomas on tired legs. The Falcons with a fresh set. It's Morneau to win the draw. One back by St. Thomas. They're trailing in face-offs one, although they led for a while. They're still pretty tight in with Bowling Green 27-22. Bowling Green with the puck behind their net allowed St. Thomas to get a change. Nathan Pilling, Lucas Van Vliet, and Giuliani out on the ice. Giuliani touches the puck there. Bowling Green can't hold it in the blue line, but they're okay wasting the time to skate back into their own zone. 15-10 to go in the third. 2-goal lead for Bowling Green. The puck comes out of play. They'll have a face-off neutral ice.
It really just feels right now that the orange and brown want it more than the purple. I mean, Bowling Green as a whole currently is just playing harder. They're still keeping with the physical game. They still have all of this energy and momentum. They're keeping the secondary efforts in at the blue lines, and that's just not what you're seeing out of St. Thomas. It feels like, honestly, just too much is slipping by them. Too many, little mistakes. Just little things are going wrong for them, while BG is just consistently putting out the effort, and their hard work is paying off.
Karodiak sweeps it in. He's had a very good game today. Ivan Karodiak has an assist. That's his third of the season, his fourth total point as well. And he's played very well defensively. His time on the ice, like Richard Simonovic, has gone up quite a bit, considering both Gustav Stjernberg and Dalton Norris out of the game today. Norris probably for a little bit longer of a haul than Stjernberg, who will be back next week off of his suspension today. Neutral ice, Waters takes it in. Down the right wing side, defended by Giuliani. He gets the puck away to Hodson in the curve. Higgins holds it in the blue line. Down deeper to the freshman centerman, Jake Sloan, and now back up to the freshman defenseman, Ty Higgins. His shot off wide right. A nice one there, hoping for a rebound from Waters on a redirect, but it's shot a bit high. Hodson directs it in, dancing on the slot, carried away by St. Thomas and Nathan Pilling. Pilling up the right wing, backhands it in. Off the bench comes Shelter, and he's going to skate into the Falcon zone as well. BG able to clear it, 14 minutes to go in the third period. Puck at neutral ice. Pilling slaps at the puck. So does the Falcon. Through center ice, St. Thomas with the puck. Quick break here for station identification. Puck in the O zone. Back behind the net, Simonovic down the left wing. Out to center ice, played behind the net. Steinman stops it, leaves it back. Now a chance for station identification here from the Slater Family Ice Arena.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Back in the corner, the Falcons with the puck. Loses it for a second. McKinley to hold it in the blue line, but his skates outside of the blue line, so he has to back check and make sure he's back before the puck does. St. Thomas trying to outlet it again, and the pass a bit long for the right side wall in, so it's going to be another icing against the Tommies. Under 13 to go in the third period. 3-1 the Falcons lead, and Tommies really nothing going too well for them in this third period, not having almost any offense to speak of.
No, it's really rather surprising, especially because St. Thomas had the very first lead of this one at 1-0. There in the first period, it didn't last long. Again, it was only about 3 minutes until Ben Duran put one through. But for St. Thomas right now, it's just really bizarre to see, especially as this team that is just been so great throughout the season. I mean, to see them trying so hard in desperation to make these long passes work and really struggling on the outlet passes and whatnot, it's just baffling to see that BG is all over them right now.
Niedermeyer is shot in toward the crossbar. That is gloved easily by Trotter, and he's making the save. Jackson Niedermeyer with a goal today. That's his third goal this season. He had 3 assists in the second game against Bemidji State. That was 4 games ago now. That was his first career 3-point game, that including both Bowling Green and Arizona State. He was Defensive Player of the Week that week, and maybe the most interesting story on this Falcon team was him starting the season playing a couple of series as a forward, and then head coach Dennis Williams coming up to him asking him if he will play defenseman, because the Falcons certainly needed him back there, and he did so, and he's been probably a top 3 defenseman for the Falcons since. Brought such good offense, such solid defense to the team, and such a versatile athlete, being able to be a solid forward last season and early this season, and then also being a pretty steady defenseman.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what exactly coaches are going to really look for, whether it's going to be kind of a two-way player of an offensive defenseman or whether it be a defensive offenseman. It's just being that versatile guy and being able to play these multiple positions. Coaches are really going to love to see that because it means you can fill a hole where it's needed and really just play to where the team needs you to be.
Niedermeyer skates open, clears the puck, and avoiding the icing, and gets his guys a change, changes himself. Now Falcons up. Waters in the offensive zone. His shot, kick save, rebound chance Duran, and he missed the cage. Disc pass back up, blue line, Crampton. Another shot in, knocked down by Bowling Green. The puck is blocked by St. Thomas and cleared away. Waters and Duran have been absolutely nagging at Aaron Trotter today. Couldn't feed it through there, but a prime opportunity.
Yeah, great opportunity. Just couldn't get a secondary chance. It was just, had too much bounce on it as it came over to Duran, and so great original chance from Waters. It was Waters, the guy that was offsides that time, but he couldn't really get out of the way. Kind of friendly fire as it was shot right at him. But honestly, great shift out of BG that time, and wouldn't be surprised if they're honestly able to find the back of the net here pretty soon.
Face-off one, McKinley's tripped. Grant won the face-off and got Bowling Green a power play coming.
Yeah, well, that's going to help their case.
I mean, right middle of the ice, that is unforgivable against the senior, Cage Sturzer, and a chance to go up by 3 goals for Bowling Green now on a power play that they've been 1 for 3 and converting today.
Yeah, and of course with that last penalty kill for BG and already a couple of power play goals in this one, just their special teams really shining throughout these last couple of moments whenever it has come out onto the ice. And so now if BG can honestly put one more through, that'll just give them momentum through the rest of this game, sure, but it'll really help them throughout the remainder of the season to really push through against these tougher opponents.
Pilling works it out, puts a shot on Steinman, who gloves it and then rips it into the corner with his glove. The Falcons with possession now as Waters had to go back, get his stick from his own end. An odd play there to start the power play, but down the left wing works Niedermeyer. His shot misses the net in full as he was down toward the goal line. McKinley up at the blue line with Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer not too much on the power play this season. Been Crampton and Higgins quite a bit. But a change made on the power play. Now a breakaway. Nathan Pilling down the right wing working in. Shot. Save made Steinman. The referee looked like it picked away the Falcon defender. Pilling got open ice. And now he is nailed by Niedermeyer behind the net.
I don't know what it is about St. Thomas not being able to score unless they have the man advantage. Man, they have had some of their best looks on 5-on-5 chances. They're on a shorthand, but they just cannot seem to beat Steinman whenever these chances come, and they're not on that man advantage.
Emerson up to the blue line. Crampton the slap shot. Clean up try by the Falcons. Trotter stands tall. Back up to the blue line. Crampton again facilitating this power play. He has Morneau. Now back to Crampton, right side. His shot up high over the head of Trotter, but he reaches up and makes a glove save. 40 seconds to go on the power play, but a rush ago. A lot to unpack there. Nathan Pilling on that shorthanded try. The Falcon defender picked by the referee. And then on the back end, he was crushed behind the net and really wanted a penalty on that.
Yeah, he was barking at the referee behind the net. He had to get back over to the benches or at least get back into the play on defense. But yeah, he was busy barking over at the referee saying, what are you calling here? I guess it was nothing. But still, at the same time, in the neutral zone, BG was frustrated with the different referee over on the far side because, as you mentioned, he kind of picked off a Falcon who was going to be the one guy on defense that wouldn't have allowed that breakaway to happen.
Morneau down goal line to Ryman. Now back up to the point, Crampton. Ryman on the near side boards. He's got the puck, open ice, feeds it back to Crampton. D-to-D pass from the freshman Crampton to the freshman Higgins. Higgins down toward the goal line, left wing on the outside of the wheel. Now down to the goal line. Morneau in the middle. Puck doesn't get to him. Emerson gets it out to Dominic Ryman, who gets it back up blue line. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Crampton, his shot, dropped down in the high slot by St. Thomas, and they clear it away. Coming out of the box, Cage Sturzer, and a successful penalty kill for St. Thomas. They've held Bowling Green to 1 for 4 on power plays today, but even strength, Bowling Green scored 2 more than St. Thomas.
Yeah, and St. Thomas honestly needs to take that penalty kill and turn that into something more than what it is at surface level. Of course, yes, you just killed a penalty, and that's great, but for St. Thomas right now, you need to take that and build something off of that. And, of course, you get the quick icing out of BG. And so this here going to be a big face-off. We'll see if they can actually get any sustained pressure for really once it's been in a long time.
The freshman Sloan will take the draw. He kind of wins it, but the 50-50 puck taken back by St. Thomas. Lapai at the blue line. Hundley, he fires it in. Deflected in front by Luke Leyland. Lapai takes it behind the goal line. It's picked away by Crampton, a poke check. And Williams has to skate out of the offensive zone with the puck. Sloan a bit high, the bucket off of what looked to be Lapai as he was in front of the BG bench. And that'll bring us to our media timeout here in the third period. 9:12 to go in the third. The Falcons with a 3-1 lead over St. Thomas. This timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 9:12 to go, waning moments. Falcons looking for 3 points in the CCHA. Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week is women's track and field mid-distance runner Rachel Hoover. The sophomore set BGSU school records in the mile, winning the event in 4 minutes and 40.35 seconds, beating 45 competitors, including runners from 5 Big Ten teams. She also won the 800 meter with 2 minutes and 12.64 seconds. Hoover was first team indoor All-MAC and first team outdoor All-MAC in 2025. Hoover cut down her mile time by 10 seconds from her previous PR just 12 days prior. She's taking a big leap in her race now compared to when she was a freshman, head coach Lou Snelling said. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
Penalties and special teams have been big this weekend for Bowling Green and St. Thomas hockey. We're here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, Game 2, and in Game 1, St. Thomas 2 for 4 on the power play in regulation. That was their only 2 goals that they scored in regulation. The Falcons 1 for 4 during that time. The Falcons also took 19 minutes of penalty to St. Thomas's 10. Now today we're 1 for 3 on the power play for St. Thomas, 1 for 4 on the power play for Bowling Green. Played a little bit less of a factor, but Vaughn, it's still influenced a lot of how this game has turned up, and Bowling Green's just been better on special teams today.
Especially when it comes down to St. Thomas, this is a team that has not been able to get anything unless they have had that man advantage. I've talked about it throughout the entirety of this game. They started off great on the power play. You get that first lead, 1-0, but then since then haven't been able to put anything together, and that's also why the last opportunities for BG on the penalty kill have been so big, is because they finally are able to succeed on the man disadvantage. So that's honestly given BG a lot of momentum to get work done on offense on their own side. It's been a big mental piece of what this series has been.
The 6'4" Karodiak wipes out the 5'9" Gaffney. Almost missed a hit high, understandably, as it's a pretty large separation in heights there. Low angle shot by Lucas Wallen, who fires it into the net and out of play. Wallen's been a bit quiet this weekend, might be jinxing it there, but he had 2 assists yesterday on the power play. But he has had a lot more opportunities than just that, and he really hasn't forced any of them through, and especially some on the breakaways looking for a goal this weekend, and a guy that's still riding a pretty long point streak of 12 games.
Yeah, for sure, and especially the guy with the C is always the guy that you try to look up to, at least in some regard, and you always want him to pop something through, as here comes a shot, but a save made. But, yeah, I mean, for Lucas, it's just a matter of, like, getting your opportunities, and even getting as much as those chances is really going to help out your team look up to you as well. And so you never know. You might have jinxed it, but it's just unfortunate that he hasn't been able to actually get his own looks to actually fall through.
The centerman pilling in for the draw. It's lifted out to center ice to St. Thomas. They're turning some into more puck possession now, and they're getting to the point of desperation. They need 2 goals in the next 18:50 to force overtime. They took 2 points yesterday against Bowling Green, still sitting atop the CCHA. Them, Augustana, Michigan Tech, Bowling Green, and Minnesota State, the top 5 teams, all pretty tight and all vying for the number 1 seed and home playoff, which is the top 4 of the 9-team conference. Crampton with the puck out to the right wing. Quinn Emerson takes it up with speed, defended by 2 Tommies, and he's wiped out into the boards himself. That was Pilling that put the hit on the senior.
I think that'll really help St. Thomas if they are able to pick that physicality back up. But here comes the Russ the other way.
Right wing, Minville. His shot goes wide. Trotter let it go by his right kicker. Didn't have to make the save, but a nice shot by Minville, especially if there was a player on the backside.
Yeah, as I was mentioning, the physicality just a big factor between who's really been winning these games. And so for BG, they've been very physical throughout this one, even though St. Thomas opened up the game with their own physicality. And so honestly, if St. Thomas is able to pick up that physicality once more, of course with some big hits there, as you just saw on Quinn Emerson along that St. Thomas side, it'll be interesting to take a look for, especially as things could get a little bit more chippy.
Niedermeyer breaks up a pass and then goes to that physical game as the puck pinned up in the corner. Godbout blows a tire, and the 2 Falcons work against just Luke Leyland of the St. Thomas Tommies and able to work the puck free for orange and brown possession. Steinman behind his net. 20 saves now for Jacob Steinman. 1 goal allowed and a .952 save percentage. Up the right wing, the freshman, Brandon Wynot. Wynot in with Sloan and playing with Adam Zlinka as well, the sophomore. And draft pick of what was the Arizona Coyotes and is now the Utah Mammoth. Zlinka slaps it forward. Brandon Wynot on the forecheck along with Jake Sloan. Sloan gets a stick on the puck, breaks up the pass a bit. St. Thomas is forced to clear it down, get a couple of guys to change, and they got their top line back out. Wallen, Gaffney, and Ryan O'Neill.
You can see BG right now just trying to slow things down. They're holding it behind the net of Steinman. They're just honestly just taking the pace down a lot more while St. Thomas is trying to act a lot more quick on their feet. The question, just is it a little too late?
BG holding on to the puck, a stretch pass ahead. Trotter has to stop it behind the net, and encroaching there was Bowling Green on the forecheck. The lines switch out, St. Thomas in. Quentin Pepper, his shot is shrugged aside by Steinman. St. Thomas clearly shortening their lines a little bit now, and here's a breakaway. Tyler Hodson is whistled down offsides. He was wide open, and maybe the offsides is why.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Duran talking to the referee. He doesn't think that he was in just yet. He was the one, I suppose, that was over. And so, yeah, the referee's going to hear an earful from him, especially because that would have been a great opportunity to make this a 3-goal game.
See the replay on the big monitor. Yeah, Duran is the lead one ahead. He goes to play the puck. Yeah, I think he was offside.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, the referee is going to get an earful no matter what, whether it's the right call or not, of course.
Yeah, his skate's completely inside the blue line.
Yeah, 100%. Ben Duran just kind of wants that back, so I think he's just taking it out on the man in stripes. But, he's just doing his job.
Couple of inches could have been a great opportunity to bring it to a 3-goal game. Right now it sits at 2, 3-1 Falcons lead. 5:20 to go in the third period. Falcons took 1 point yesterday in the overtime loss. St. Thomas with 2 off of Nick Williams' overtime game-winning goal with a couple to go in the 3-on-3 5-minute overtime. Quentin Pepper and Nathan Pilling pinned up the puck. The Falcons looking to work it free. It's Simonovic and Morneau and Crampton battling in the corner. This wasting time for Bowling Green, which is beneficial to the Falcons, something they'll accept. Although I'm sure head coach Dennis Williams would tell you they want to get in the O zone as much as they possibly can, even though they just have to hold on to the 2-goal lead. Williams the shot in, gloved with the left hand of Jacob Steinman. And under 5 to go in the third, it'll stay 3-1.
That's honestly not a huge save, of course, from Jacob Steinman. Of course, for his level of play, it honestly might be more one of the simpler ones that he's seen today. But just sticking with it and doing the little things right is exactly what the Falcons need right now. He's staring at that play all throughout, keeping track of it in his own zone, not taking his eye off of any exchange that goes on in his own side of the ice. And so even just gloving that one up, though it may have seemed simple, it's honestly a big deal in these late stages.
Luke Leyland, Josh Giuliani, and Dylan Godbout out as forwards for St. Thomas. They'll take the draw against the forwards of Jaden Grant, Max Martin, and Jeremy Minville. Minville up to center. Godbout gloves it, drops it. It squirts between his legs. Now the Falcons come up. Here's Max Martin working in. His shot blocked. A nice play by the St. Thomas defender to get down on his knee and block that chance for Max Martin. There was 3 ahead to only 1 defender. And now here's a turnover. Godbout with the puck back. He fires it in towards Steinman, and he'll hold on. As for the goaltending strategy of the Falcons, which is to cover up the puck as quick as you can every time. 4:22 to go in the third, and that's a pretty solid strategy for these goaltenders, Vaughn, considering the prowess that Bowling Green has in the face-off circles. Why not go for a face-off? Because there's a better chance you win it than you lose it.
Yeah, and of course in that specific situation, when you got Steinman on a rush that's coming right up on him, he just decides to glove that one up. He doesn't want to play anything too risky. Of course, why would you? You're in the driver's seat in a 3-1 lead. Just cover that one up, and that's just kind of the mentality. As you mentioned, you get the face-off in your own side, sure, but honestly, with the way that you've been doing it, especially today specifically, it's probably going to work out, even though, again, it's not going to here.
The pass is broken up by Jaden Grant with his stick outstretched. Nick Williams has to come out to neutral ice to gather the puck. St. Thomas quietly up to the leader in this game in shots on goal with 24 to the Falcons 23. A lot of those coming in this third period. 9 already. That's the highest of any period today for St. Thomas. 7 in the second and 8 in the first. Williams back out. Hundley the shot in. Missed wide left. Might have been blocked by a Falcon forward as well. Gaffney fires it to the slot. Wallen with his stick ready there for a shovel, and the pass never got to him. Up to the blue line. Shot with traffic. Sees right through Lucas Wallen and Jackson Niedermeyer. And Steinman with the left-hand glove save again.
Yeah, Steinman just flashing the leather that time, hopping up to his feet and just fully corralling that one. Again, little things is what I'm going to emphasize here. And that was a little bit more than a little thing. He hopped up and made it a little bit more flashy, and that's always just going to give his bench a little bit of momentum. With 3:37 left to go, why not?
We haven't seen a goal since 7 minutes into the second period. St. Thomas trying to change that. They need 2 goals made up in the next 3.5 minutes to try and take points in this game. The Falcons threatening to take all 3 in game 2. Quentin Pepper down in the corner. Kurodiak battling in for the puck with McKinley. Falcons have also shortened their bench. They have Brandon Wynot, Jaden Grant, and Dominic Ryman on the ice. Swept out to the blue line. Van Vliet to the middle. Cheslock down to the right wing side. Casey Leyland is shot and blocked by Kurodiak. Bounces up high in the air. Van Vliet another shot. No screen. And that's routine for the freshman Tendy for the Falcons.
Man, that was a harsh shot too. Had a lot of heat on it from Van Vliet. He really wants to make this a 1-goal game so that they can pull the net empty, as now they actually have pulled the net empty. They're looking for that extra attacker to make something happen, but sure, yeah, they want something to sneak on through because it's a lot more manageable to make it a 1-goal game and try to pop it in for a tie, but just not going to work that time for Van Vliet.
26 saves, 1 goal out for Steinman. Nobody on the other end of the ice in the crease for St. Thomas. 3 minutes to go in the third. 2 goals of makeup needed for the Tommies. Puck pinned up in the corner. 6 skaters for St. Thomas. Cheslock and Van Vliet back up at the blue line. The puck is worked free. Quentin Pepper around to Pilling, who gets it back up to those blue liners. Van Vliet playing as a defenseman, but a forward. That's the extra skater for St. Thomas. To Cheslock. Fakes the one-timer. Moves it to the middle. Pass intercepted by Duran, or at least broken up. To the left wing boards. Van Vliet now back to the middle. Cheslock, and out to the right side. Leyland. Quinn Emerson tried to clear it, but it's held in. Casey Leyland on the right side. Back up to the blue line, and Van Vliet. Van Vliet works in down the left wing side. Low angle. His shot. Save made. Steinman clearing attempt. Now to the left side. Luke Leyland again. And it's another save made by Steinman. The puck was almost covered up. The puck is still free, but it's whistled dead. And the faceoff's coming to the left of the freshman goaltender. 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third.
I think for St. Thomas, yes, they've done so well at the man advantage, and right now they have an extra skater out there, so they're going to control the puck maybe a little bit more, of course. But honestly, I think where they've really succeeded has been more of that open ice, and that's why they had as much control as they did in the overtime period of yesterday's affair. When it was 3v3, they were able to control it so much more. I think it's more of that matter of the open ice in front of them. But now when you have an extra attacker out there, that's even less open ice to actually make something work.
Gaffney, Wallen, O'Neill, and Godbout. And on the back line, Hayes Hundley and Nick Williams. That's as much offense you can put on the ice for St. Thomas, with maybe one exception of Dylan Godbout, who's not the best scorer, so 11 points on the season. The Falcons with 5 of their best penalty killers, Karodiak being one of them, who tried to clear the puck. Back to St. Thomas on the left side. Gaffney, he works in. Only goal in this game is Alex Gaffney's. He circles the net. Looks back up to the blue line. Hayes Hundley blue attire, so it's got to go to the middle. Williams deflected in front. O'Neill clean up try. Wallen, and it's steered behind the goal line and cleared down. The wraparound pass by Lucas Wallen comes down to the St. Thomas end. 1:40 to go in the third period. 3-1 Falcons lead. Behind the net, Higgins pins it up. Niedermeyer in as well. Puck worked free. Waters gets a tip, but is back out to the blue line. Purple and white still have the puck. Nick Williams to the left side. Gaffney shot blocked by Higgins. Again fed in on the rebound. That's a big block by the freshman. Got down for BG. Behind the goal line again, Wallen. Lifted out to center. Nick Williams will chase on tired legs. Brandon Wynot is going to get there late. It's going to be an icing against BG.
Man, Higgins has had one heck of a game. He has been taking these blocked shots in. He's going to wake up with a bruise tomorrow, as that shot was coming in hot. He's also been exceptional at keeping it in the blue line, in the O-zone. He's just really been a big impact player. Again, really where it comes down to the little things, he's just really been very, very successful at giving his team the puck possession and consistently keeping his team with some piece of momentum. 2
blocks by 6 separate Falcons and 2 from Ty Higgins with his second just a second ago. Van Vliet, St. Thomas with 6 skaters. Minute left to go in the third, and they need 2 goals to tie it up and take points. A shot in towards Steinman. Rebound try. Missed wide left. That was a good chance for the Tommies. Puck on the left wing, half wall. Van Vliet fans on his shot. A try toward the empty net, and a miss wide right. That was Niedermeyer looking for his second of the game.
St. Thomas right now as a whole just putting together some rough passes. So actually really not putting together much of anything, as BG just really seems to be in the lanes of said passes. Again, I think it's a matter of struggling to find that open ice, and now more than ever is that open ice just not there for them, and they're struggling to get it past still 5 skaters out there for BG.
And it looks like there's a timeout called by Rico Blasi and St. Thomas. The Falcons took 1 point yesterday and 43 seconds away from 3 points today and winning the weekend. Kind of battling against what St. Thomas did at home earlier on this year when they took 4 out of the 6 points in the Liam Penny Anderson Arena in St. Paul, the home of St. Thomas hockey. And again, this entire weekend really, Vaughn, is going to come down to 5-on-5. The Falcons able to get 2 5-on-5 goals today, Duran and Dominic Ryman. That's the game tying and the game winning goal as it stands right now. And St. Thomas has still not even been able to score a 5-on-5 goal.
No, and that's just going to give you some confidence as you move into the remainder of February, where you got a team like Augustana on your schedule and you got a team like Minnesota State on your schedule. I mean, those are tough teams here in the CCHA. So if you as a whole can really beat a team like St. Thomas, where it comes into 5-on-5 and allow no goals in 5-on-5, that's just going to give you so much enthusiasm, honestly, to go into these next games and put something together, even if it's on the defensive side.
Jacob Steinman in the crease, 5 skaters for the Falcons, 6 skaters for St. Thomas, and an empty net on the other end of the ice. BG with a 2-goal lead, 40 seconds to go in the third. Gaffney behind the net. Desperation time for the Tommies. Back up blue line, Hundley to the left wing, outside the wheel. O'Neill fires it in. No cleanup as Steinman shut it off. Van Vliet, another slap shot and a stick block from Duran and Emerson up at the high slot. Under 30 seconds to go in the third as the puck is frozen.
And again, right now we're at a matter of mere seconds. Now 28 left to go in this third and final frame of regulation. And so even though you're consistently getting the face-offs in your own side, with the success that you have found in the dot, it's going to be a big, big deal for them to just consistently get these face-offs. But we'll see how many more we have to go.
Face-off one, back directly to Van Vliet. Now to Hayes Hundley. His shot blocked by Jaden Grant. He put a shot onto the other end of the ice with a no glove. And puck is going to be whistled as an icing, but 18 seconds to go in the third. It's going to be a tall order for St. Thomas to get 2.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, St. Thomas just hasn't been able to put anything through without open ice. And right now you can see it coming in quickly where BG is consistently able to take that puck away and clear it down. I don't see how St. Thomas is able to do this.
And for the draw to the right of Steinman, Duran back up to the blue line. Sent down by Hundley in the corner. Wallen blows a tire. O'Neill feeds it in. Steinman to make a save. A chance there for Nathan Pilling. Duran down the left wing. Off the glass. Out to the other end. That's going to do it. The Falcons with 3 points against St. Thomas in Game 2. And they take 4 points in the weekend on the shoulders of Jacob Steinman tonight. His first 30-save game since November 22nd. That against St. Thomas, and his first 30-save win since November 21st against St. Thomas. 3-2 overtime victory that night. He's got a 3-1 regulation victory tonight against St. Thomas.
Really remarkable play out of BG. I mean, on the defensive side, it was quick and it was easy to just clear it out of the zone. St. Thomas killed in momentum early on. Yes, they got that first goal in and they had the lead at 1-0. Sure, didn't last long as Ben Duran popped his one through about 3 minutes later. And so BG, it really has felt like controlled just about all 60 minutes of this game, and especially when you don't let anything happen on the other side while you have 5 skaters out there. It honestly is almost surprising that they weren't able to get more than just 4 points out of this weekend.
40 points now for the Falcons on the season. That does not change the standings right now, but we'll keep an eye on Michigan Tech, Augustana, who play each other, and St. Thomas will not take any more points. They sit at 47, so the Falcons hopefully encroaching on them. Also, Bowling Green 3 points ahead of Minnesota State with the same amount of games played. That's key to look for in the standings, but that will all be talked about in the post-game show by Gavin, Artie, and Nate back in the Cooling Center studios. But before that, we'll bring it back here in just a minute for the Bill and Karen Hoffert Stars of the Game. Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures for nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to check out thousands of photos and all the content.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces more feature stories about BGSU athletics than any other media outlet. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com and follow Falcon Media Sports Network at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with all of our content.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, Bill and Karen Hoffert, Stars of the Game, brought to you by Bill and Karen Hoffert, longtime BGSU hockey fans and Falcon Club members. The third star of the game today, Jackson Niedermeyer, the superfluous goal today. The third one was not a game winner or a game tire, but that's his third of the season, a new career high as a Falcon on the power play, assisted by Duran and McKinley. Second star of the game, Jacob Steinman for Bowling Green, who has his first 30-save game since November 22nd. That was 77 days ago for Steinman. That was against St. Thomas, and he has his first 30-save win since 11/21, also against St. Thomas in a 3-2 overtime victory. Steinman with 31 saves and 1 goal allowed today for another victory. And Ben Duran, the first star of the game, a goal, 2 assists, had a hand on all 3 goals that the Falcons scored today. 4 shots, 2 shots on goal, and 11 face-off wins to 2 blocks and a +2 rating, which is the lead of the match tonight for the Falcons. Ben Duran, Jacob Steinman, Jackson Niedermeyer, all with stars of the game. Vaughn, a heck of a statement victory for the Falcons today and this weekend as well. 4 points toward the CCHA, done for Bowling Green without their captain Dalton Norris, without an alternate captain Gustav Sternberg, and also without a key forward in Brett Foe.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to this BG win. Of course, when you don't allow any 5-on-5 goals against a ranked opponent, that's always just going to give you so much confidence. And you mentioned it, just a great performance out of Jacob Steinman. That's going to give you a little bit more oomph as you go into more CCHA play. And just as a whole, just, you mentioned it, a statement victory for BG that can really just keep the pressure on moving forward. It's a mental game. Any sport is a mental game, and this is really going to help them out mentally build that up.
Bowling Green heads into next week at Augustana in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The week after that, Minnesota State at home, the final home series of the regular season, and then Michigan Tech on the road. Gavin and Nate and Artie back in the Cooling Center studios have done a fabulous job so far today, and they'll walk you through a quick post-game and then sign off for us. From myself and Vaughn Ullum from the Falcon Media Sports Network, we say so long and talk to you next week. Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On August 28, 2025, BGSU football running back Cameron Petaway returned at kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown on the first play of the season against Lafayette. The second straight year the Falcons found pay dirt on the first play of the campaign. Falcon Media Sports Network Sean Connolly had the call of the moment on Falcon Radio.
Dumont kicks it away, and we are underway in the 2025 football season, and it will be returned. Like he's got an opening, and will we see it again? There he goes. He's at the 50. There he goes for the second straight year. He will be gone. 2 years in a row, Cameron Petaway. Touchdown Falcons. Unbelievable.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Hello, I'm Nate Paps. I play O-line here at BGSU. My 4 favorite hobbies are hunting. I love hunting deer and turkey during the off season and whenever I have time off. My second favorite hobby is video games. Whenever, in season when I come home, I like to chill and just relax, play some video games with my friends. Third favorite hobby is fishing. Goes along with hunting, but I love being outdoors. I love fishing, hunting. I love all kinds of stuff like that outside. And my most recent favorite hobby is playing pool. We just got a pool table in our garage, and me and my roommates, who are also on the team, love playing pool. Those are my 4 favorite hobbies. Go Falcons.
Millions of people all over the world go hungry while we waste our land and water resources. Did you know that raising animals for human consumption uses 8 times as much water as growing fruits, vegetables, and grains? And that the same amount of land can produce 17 times more soybean protein than meat protein? For great vegetarian recipes, write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
Falcon Media
Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
BGSU Gymnastics returns to the Stroh Center to face Wilberforce and Fisk on Sunday, February 8th at 2 p.m. Check out bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the contest by Falcon Media Sports Network's Carter Leonard with photos and video on bgfalconmedia.com.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces weekly short-form and long-form social media pieces for in-season sports all year long. Make sure to check out at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and at BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to view the content.
If you're a veteran looking to file for your service-connected benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, don't go it alone. AMVET's highly trained service officers stand ready to walk you through the process at VA regional offices around the country, helping you to navigate the complex VA system free of charge. With new presumptions for Agent Orange exposure and other conditions, AMVETS can offer you the advice you need to finally receive all of your earned benefits. In 2009 alone, AMVETS helped process more than 65,000 claims and appeals, securing more than $410 million in benefits. To find your nearest AMVET service officer or to learn more, visit amvets.org.
BGSU men's basketball guard Javante Campbell made a game-winning layup against Toledo with 1.6 seconds remaining on February 21st, 2025, giving BG their first win at Savage Arena since 2021. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavelitz had the call of the shot on Falcon Radio.
It's Campbell with the ball, driving inside, layup's no good, rebounded by Exact, the putback's no good. Johnson fights for it, it's kicked back out to Exact, inside to Campbell. Campbell puts the layup, it goes with 1.6 seconds remaining. Javante Campbell with the huge shot, possible shot of the year for Bowling Green. They take the lead with 1.6 seconds remaining over Toledo, 69-68.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Here in the Cooling Center for your post-game show, I am Gavin Gill, sitting with Artie Abrego and Nate Hinners. Final score, Bowling Green 3, St. Thomas 1. Bowling Green came out and St. Thomas came out scoring 1 goal in the first period. Bowling Green ended up scoring 2 in the second and then nothing in the third, playing a very defensive third period. Artie and Nate, kind of final thoughts from this game. Bowling Green came out aggressive in the second, like Artie kind of predicted, and then kind of playing more of a defensive game in that third. But let's start with Artie.
I mean, it's the first game in a while they haven't gone to an extra period. I mean, it's the first game in 3 games out of a 4-game stretch where they've avoided going to OT. So it's definitely, I think the strategy was to come out aggressive in that second period and then just play defense in that third. And it worked out really well for them. I mean, they picked up a win against the top team in the conference. They got their 15th win of the season. So it was definitely a good night for BG. I mean, goals were contributed amongst multiple players. It was definitely a solid night for the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, they played the game they needed to tonight. You know, going off last night, they were able to be competitive, of course, going into overtime, but that overtime loss cost them overall. So tonight, being able to stay competitive with the top team in the CCHA is what they needed to do. And yeah, I mean, they got to let a goal in that first period, but second and third were able, second period again, as you were saying, playing very offensive, but also preventing any more goals. And then third period, really just trying to keep that 3-1 lead. And that is what they needed to do tonight. And they did it. And they beat the top team in the CCHA. So I just feel like the Falcons, they learned from last night, played a good game. And really, especially too, without Gustav Sternberg, they were able to still get past that and, yeah, get a win over St. Thomas tonight. So pretty good game for the Falcons.
I mean, it was a great game for one guy, too. Jacob Steinman. I mean, what a performance. I mean, he let one go early, but didn't let a single one go through after that. He made 31 saves tonight, including defending against 17 shots on goal in that third period. I mean, a major night for Steinman.
Yeah, I was just about to bring him up. Like, Steinman really took that first goal personally, and like for the Tommies to come in and have 32 shots on goal, 58 shots in total, and Steinman blocked pretty much all of them besides one. Very impressive night from Steinman, so I would have to give my pick for player of the game to Steinman tonight, even though there were 3 different Falcons to score a goal. Do you guys want to give your players of the game real quick before we send it over to deep dive into the CCHA?
I would definitely give it to Steinman as well. I mean, just a phenomenal performance in the goal for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could say him. I would just go with him as well. I mean, stepping up tonight and just having overall a really good game and helping the Falcons get a win.
Yeah, I mean, so like I was saying, I'm gonna do a deep dive into CCHA play right now. Currently, there's only one game going on right now. Fair State, Bemidji State. Bemidji is up 2-1 on Fair State. So, but if you want to take a look ahead, there's only 2 more series after this one. Bowling Green will take on, 3 more series after this one. Bowling Green will take on Augustana, Minnesota State, and then Michigan Tech. There is a very good possibility that Bowling Green can take that number 1 seed and secure a home playoff game here at the slate. If you take a look at the top 4 teams right now, you have St. Thomas, which Bowling Green defeated today. Michigan Tech, that is Bowling Green's final opponent, and Augustana, who they play next week in the next week's series, and then Bowling Green sits right behind them. The current score or the current point standings, St. Thomas is at 47, Michigan Tech's at 45, Augustana's at 42, and Bowling Green's at 40. So, if Bowling Green can get a win over Augustana, they immediately jump them unless they split, then Augustana will take the lead. But if Bowling Green can get a sweep over Augustana, they jump Augustana, and then Michigan Tech will have to play Lake Superior State, which you kind of expect Lake Superior State to fall to Michigan Tech, showing how hot Michigan Tech has been. And, I mean, Lake Superior State is currently sitting with 20 points, and they're only 6-14. So you expect a win over that. St. Thomas, however, has to play Augustana next week. So they're going to be fighting for that spot right there in that, I would say, 1-3 range. So if Bowling Green beats Minnesota State, they jump Augustana. If St. Thomas beats Augustana, then Augustana will fall to the Falcons, and Bowling Green will jump up into that 3rd spot. If St. Thomas loses, nothing really happens. Michigan Tech will take that 1 spot. So right now, we're looking at a very interesting situation in the top 4 spots for CCHA play, but nothing is really going to get determined until next week. We'll have a better idea of what the playoffs kind of look like. But that is around the CCHA. Artie and Nate, any final words before we send it back set it back live on music?
I mean, it was a great win for the Falcons. It's probably been their most major win of the season in this later slate so far. I mean, a 3-1 win in regulation. That's going to be a big one for the point total and moving up in the standings.
Yeah, going in last night, starting off this series, the Falcons not favored very much to win or even really be competitive. I mean, Falcons 4th in the CCHA, St. Thomas 1st. Just looked like the Tommies were going to have a pretty easy win on paper, but the Falcons were able to stay competitive last night going into overtime, and then tonight getting a really good win, a 3-1 win. So the Falcons, as we've seen with them throughout the season, even when they look like they're going to be not favored to win, even when it looks like it could be an easy win for the other team, they don't let that stop them and are at least able to tie the series like they did this weekend. So just overall, a really good series for the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good series. And next week, they will be taking on Minnesota State. Minnesota State? Hold on.
I think so.
I think it's Minnesota State. No, next week they take on Augustana, where we'll have Ben Korak and Lucas Kleinmeyer both heading up to South Dakota.
That'll be an exciting trip.
Yeah. Lucas Kleinmeyer, not a big hockey beat, but traveling with Ben Korak, I feel like that's going to be a very good
When you
game.
have a trip to South Dakota on the line, you're going to take it.
Right. I mean, South Dakota is a very Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've actually been there. It's actually one of the biggest cities in South Dakota. There's some things to do.
Lucas has been to all the. He went to Alaska. Now he gets to go to Sioux Falls.
Went to Massachusetts, South Carolina. Did he go to South Carolina? I think.
I am trying to remember.
I don't remember, but anyway, but make sure to tune in next week at that puck drop will be at 8:07 because they are an hour behind us. So puck drop will be at 8:07. Tune in 30 minutes prior to that broadcast on Friday, February 13th, and then the final game of that series will be Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. That is that your birthday?
That would be my birthday. Yes, that is my birthday.
On February 13th.
Show Artie some love.
Yes. That puck drop will be at 7:07. Make sure to tune in 30 minutes prior to the broadcast for a pregame show. I am Gavin Gill, sitting with thank you to Artie Abrego and Nate Hinners and Ben Korak and Vaughn Olith back in
I think all of them.
My bad. You're listening to WBGU 88.1.